you know, I was thinking earlier, I really like that Charles Bronson guy. He's kind of the kind of guy I want to sit down and have a couple shots of some really old swill garbage rum with. Have a couple
Mr.
beers.
Boston?
Mr. Boston will be acceptable. I have no problem with that. I like that kind of alcohol that you would drink, the cheapest that they have at the bar. It's all I can afford. But I also enjoy a good can of PBR. Maybe even possibly some Miller Lite if you think about it twice. I'm not sure. Anything that can get me drunk for cheap is all I give a shit about.
I really think we need the theme music for... You know what? I figured out a name for you. I couldn't decide whether you were hobo or hipster Justin, so you're now Hobster Justin.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I have no clue who you are, where I am right now. Why are you calling me names like that? Just give me a can of PBR and a couple of, quarters from my pocket, and I'll be on my way. Huh?
Yes. As far as the Goonies goes, it's just I don't like it.
You don't hate it. You don't hate it.
I think it's
That's what I want
think
you to
it's
say.
decently made. It's Richard Donner, so I mean, of course, it's decently made. But it's not my movie. And there's movies like this out there that everybody has that are, it's past their time, or they just don't buy into what everybody else sees in it, or whatever. Even though they may. Here's a great example of this. Wizard of Oz. Now, I completely understand why people love Wizard of Oz. I absolutely understand how much of an achievement it was back in the day when it was made, but I don't fucking like it. It's not that I hate the Goonies. I don't hate it, but I just don't like it. It's not my thing. That's the
I
watch
That's
it,
the thing.
I'm completely indifferent towards it. I'm just like, I don't care about this. You know what I mean?
So that's the thing. So I think we've made some progress here, because, like I said, when I would talk about it, you would like, I hate that fucking movie. It's a piece of shit. And my response of like, why? Like, why? Was mainly towards the intensity that you brought. And now you've basically backtracked to, I'm kind of neutral on it. Like, does
does it make
not my
sense
thing. So that's what I'm saying.
I'm a pretty
You've gone from I hate it, it's a piece of shit, to it's not my thing, which is totally a different thing. So
thinking about me, you've known me for a little while. We've had our back and forth on movie pod squad chats about different movies and whatever. And I've been on the movie fantasy drafts and stuff. I mean, would you not at least say that I'm an extreme guy? Like, I go for the reaction, and I know I'm like this. Where like I go for that reaction from people where like they're like, holy fuck, I can't believe. And listen, I'll say this about the Goonies: saying that you're not a fan of the Goonies for most people is the same as saying you hate it. I'll say that because a lot of people love that movie so much where if you're not a fan of it, you're fucking Satan. Lex Luthor's whole plot is to make Nuclear Man and give him nails so he could scratch Superman and get him sick. Like Superman
he's
can
like,
still fucking breathe. How does scratching Superman, like, does Superman not know how to use fucking like peroxide so he doesn't get an infection? Like,
he's eating chicken soup. He's eating chicken soup with a blankie in front of a hot fire.
Oh my! That's so fucking stupid. It's ignorant. Like, Superman still breathes. Like, he would still breathe in. I don't know why I'm trying to apply like reason or logic to this fucking goddamn
There's no reason or
shit
logic
pile.
to this, but to my point, as I was saying, this is the movie I will watch late at night after like a 6-pack, where I can just sit and watch it for how fucking stupid it is, and I'll laugh at it. Like, that's the one thing I've got out of it, because, ladies and gentlemen, I haven't watched The Quest for Peace in a long time. I was very scared. I was worried. I knew I had to sit through this movie before we did our retrospective. I'm glad that I did. Hey, if you want to do this, if you promise to be an Ewok, I'll stop dieting and going to the gym, and I'll just start eating like garbage every fucking day and drinking a case of beer, Bud Light, Keystone, you name it, to be as fat as fuck as I can be, to be Jabba the Hutt. Though our contributor Loy Sauce would have to disagree. He just said it was slightly bad, but he expected slightly bad. Is that right, Loy Sauce? Where's that Loy Sauce music? Where's that theme song? Is it there, Nick?
I am still working on that. I got to put something together for every single Loy Sauce mention. I think I'm just going to make it more like a soundbite. So every time we say Loy Sauce, like remember back in the very early episodes, I would drop that Hulk Hogan brother sound
Brother
all the time.
Brother.
I think people miss that. Put it in there.
Brother.
I should. I really should put it in there. Brother. It is less a script than it is a jumbled mess of words tossed onto a page by someone whose writing clocks in somewhere between a Dora the Explorer episode and a documentary about sand, although saying as much as an insult to people who write Dora and sand documentaries. It is insulting. And I mean this very truthfully, too, because, I mean, again, I got a fucking degree in this shit. I've studied film. I've studied film writing. Okay, it's insulting to anyone who has ever studied or practiced the craft of writing, particularly screenplays. It's basically a checklist of don'ts for a Hollywood screenwriter. And the assumption by Affleck that he can skate the entire story of this film on meaningless narration is just, it makes me sick. It really does. He should be fucking embarrassed for this piece of shit. He should apologize personally to every amazing actor and every amazing crew person. The production design in this film is also fantastic. Period setting, fantastic. I can't say enough good things about everything else in the film. All the pieces were there. All of the elements were definitely there. But he should also personally apologize to every single person, i.e. me, who sat in a theater and had to suffer through this fucking flapping piece of shit. Investment in characters, Dan, it begins and ends with living and breathing with those characters throughout their life moments up on the screen, not telling the audience about them in passing. Okay? It's utterly lost, and it's a nonsensical heap, and it belongs in a garbage can next to a Walmart bargain bin buried underneath half-filled slushies and a case of expired Greek yogurt. No one should see this fucking movie. No one. What do you got Gillison down your gullet this evening? You definitely beat Dan. You beat Dan. Dan, you've got a usurper to your throne. He's still fucking going.
Yeah,
I think he won.
Nailed it.
He absolutely won.
The mantle.
Wow.
We might as well take this opportunity to kind of announce something here on the show, Nick.
Yes, we should.
Collectively, we have decided here that we no longer need to call Loy Sauce, Mr. Brian Loy, a contributor to the Epic Film Guys podcast, because he is now officially an epic film guy. That's
Indeed.
right, ladies and gentlemen. He does enough for the show. I see enough movies with him, and we talk so much. We're all collectively on the same page as far as films are concerned. It makes so much sense to just add him to the roster, and we're very glad to have him. So there it is to you, Brian. This is the official announcement. You are now an epic film guy. So
he's
now,
only going to get that smattering of applause sound effect, though.
No, come on, no.
But yeah, welcome to the Epic Film Guys family. Brian and Justin was talking to me earlier about it, and yeah, you're absolutely right. He contributes so much to the show in terms of calling fan views and, you know, doing the different reviews and stuff that he's done with us. He'll be on the main show from time to time, you know, whenever we can get him in here. It's just unfortunately adding a third voice to the main show, because we hit about an 80-minute time frame usually. It just adds that much more work for me in editing. But having him on the smaller episodes, especially the B-sides, because I haven't seen most of those films and you two have, you know, it'll give you two much more of an opportunity to review a lot more of these great films. But either way, we're very, very thrilled to just have him as part of the Epic Film Guys family. And officially, yeah, welcome to the Epic Film Guys family. Loy Sauce.
Sounds good to hear that word, Epic Film Guys family. You know, for a while, it kind of felt like you were like my redheaded cousin or something that I saw a couple times a year at like family events and stuff, that we would like talk in the corner randomly when we had an opportunity about movies. Then we'd be scolded and slapped on the hand and told, get back to work.
Come on, give us your best Crocodile Dundee at least. Come on.
My best Crocodile Dundee. Oh, look at here. We've got a beautiful saltwater crocodile.
That's Crocodile Hunter. He's doing
That's Crocodile Hunter, not Crocodile Dundee.
Crocodile Dundee.
Crocodile Dundee is...
Oh my God.
That's not a knife.
Yeah, that's what. All right, so everybody give me.
I gotta
come on, give me your best
before I
sets.
get
That's not
Crocodile
enough.
Dundee, guys. Come on.
Oh, so you've played Knifey Spoony before.
Hey.
Yeah, good stuff. Throw another shrimp on the bobby.
To be Australian, you just got to talk like Mr. Sunday Movies. That's what everyone's exposure to Australia is anymore.
Very, very safe to say right from the onset that every single one of us absolutely thought this film was the biggest piece of shit that they've ever seen in the entire fucking year because it leaves out the most important character from A New Hope of all time. William Hootkins as Porkins is not in the climactic battle, and I'm sorry, I rated a 1 out of 10 just based on that fact. Piece of garbage.
Zero out of 10 for me.
Wow. Damn.
I told you I took a shit right on the movie theater floor after the movie was over because there was no Porkins.
I cannot
Minus 5 out of 10.
believe it.
Minus 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I let the poor 15-year-old kid come and just sweep that up, and I watched him, and I said, there was no Porkins.
It's the highest quality I've ever seen a film in. The new laser projector is state of the art, and there's, like I said, only a handful of them in the entire world, actually. So you live close, dude. I would take advantage of that, especially right now. If you did like The Force Awakens, I saw it there, and it was, oh my God. I jizzed all over the back of the guy's head that was sitting in front of me over and over again. It like probably dripped down into his nose and his mouth and his eyes. He couldn't see. It stuck his eyes shut. I mean, literally, it was just so beautiful. So
Thanks for that.
Those
theater,
nostalgia boners are powerful things, man. Powerful, powerful things.
Hey, I have a
my
question
Lord.
real quick. Nick, what are your feelings on Live by Night? Do you have any strong feelings about that movie?
Have you ever been really, really drunk?
Yes.
And like really, really high?
Yeah, right now.
And then it's 2 in the morning. Yeah, right this way. And then you decide, I'm fucking starving, and you make bad decisions, and you go to Taco Bell and you order about $30 worth of food, and you eat it all in about 6 minutes.
That doesn't sound like
the
a bad
mess
decision.
that you leave in the toilet. Yeah, the mess that you leave in the toilet the next morning, more enjoyable than Live by Night.
Yeah, well, your toilet is taking the punishment, not you.
My number 6, of course, Justin, you know how much I hate Ewoks. Jedi is my number 6 because I contend, still to this day, that Jedi is the best and worst Star Wars film all rolled into one tight little package. The Endor battle and...
is it really that tight though? Like, is it really super tight, or is it just like kind of tight?
We need to come up with we need to get some theme music for Justin's list, so that way when you show up, I can play you like an intro for you. How you doing, buddy?
It's gotta be like that song from Night at the Roxbury. Baby, don't hurt me no more.
So are you looking forward to seeing? Are you looking forward to seeing The
everything.
Force Awakens too?
I'm really excited at the part when Adam Driver's gonna take his mask off, because I really like how tall and masculine he looks.
Oh, very nice. I learned that Adam Driver is a former United States Marine. I didn't know that.
He is, and he's really.
Do you like those
kinda-
buff military bods, Justin's lisp?
I like the really scrawny, almost anorexic looking bodies. Get the fuck get out of here! Ugh. Ah,
I need to get
dude.
some fight sound effects to throw in there. My number 5 is The Phantom Menace. My number 4 is Clones. My number 3 is A New Hope. And my number 2 is Revenge of the Sith, even though I will openly admit that the first third of that film is the worst of the prequels. It is so fucking terrible. And then that leaves my number 1 film is, of course, without a doubt, The Empire Strikes Back. It's a brilliant film. It is a fucking masterpiece of film in general, not just as a Star Wars movie. Yeah, we have to only use fuck 10 times per episode now. We really got to choose our fucks carefully, and I just wasted 2 of them.
Well, I honestly, with you, Nick, I could count 50 plus fucks every fucking episode, every fucking time you say fuck. I'm just done caring about saying fuck in every fucking episode because you say it so many fucking times. I'm fucking astounded. Fuck worrying about saying fuck in a podcast. Humongous thumbs up.
Humongous thrum?
Thrums up. Thrum.
Humongous
thumbs up. Throbbing. It's throbbing. No. He's not coming back, Nick. As much as you want the list back on the show, he's not.
You think he's ever coming back?
I believe in the Lisp, but I don't though. Damn it, I'm not going to be drawing the Lisp logo all over, random signs and stuff. Meryl Streep's.
What would his logo even be?
A giant dick and a mouth. I don't know. Just a mouth open, Nick. A mouth open with a giant dick about to go in it. The tip about to go in. That's definitely what it'd be.
You know what? I got a better idea for it. You and your chocolate stout. Why don't you go buy the cheapest shit brand of chocolate ice cream? Go get some Miller Lite and pour it on it, and there's your chocolate stout.
Brother.
I threatened to wash Loy Sauce's mouth out with soap because he was being naughty in the chat on the Facebook page earlier. Fox dropped it on us out of fucking nowhere, but this is the Independence Day resurgence trailer.
Oh man, let's hear it.
I will actually tell you that I was fucking blown away by this trailer.
I knew it.
Looks fucking great, dude. It looks
I told
so
you.
fucking good. And you go to the website and you can do the viral marketing thing. Go through all this stuff. Jeff Goldblum looks fucking great. Like this massive
Do me a favor.
city-sized alien ship. Oh,
real
man,
quick.
It looks so good.
I may just be hungry enough to drive to the Burger King down the street and get one of those black cheeseburgers that'll make my stomach
You better tell us about your green shit after you're done with it. I want to hear all about your nasty wet green shit.
I'll just post a picture of it on the Facebook page tomorrow for everyone to enjoy. They can like and comment what they think of the color, if it's green enough, and
you could just post it and tag it as the first official set photo from the new Spider-Man movie.
Each Oscar is 13.5 inches. Come on, Justin's list. Come on, Justin's list.
He's not ready. I don't think he's ready yet, but he might come out because he does like bald guys. And you're talking about 13-inch bald guys.
Svelte, yeah.
I know, 13 and a half inches.
Respectable.
And weighs 8.5 pounds.
Damn, you could murder someone with
I know.
Oscar.
That's why a lot of speeches, they remark of, oh, this is
hold it
heavy.
with like two hands.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I didn't think it would be this heavy. So that's about how heavy a gallon of milk is, to give you an idea. Or the human head, if you happen to be holding a human head.
Nick, if you had to pick any one movie as your favorite movie, what is it?
Anything with Walken.
About Schmidt.
About Schmidt.
I want that to be
Simple
true.
answer.
So
I
bad.
loved how fast he answered that. That's
About
how
Schmidt.
fucking
That was
sure he was.
he had that locked
Dear
in.
Indugu.
It is my favorite movie of all time. It is.
Are you serious?
Wow.
I am. Yeah, 100%.
No, wait.
Wow.
Clearly, it's because of the tits, right?
Absolutely.
Fucking Kathy Bates in a hot tub.
Just loving Kathy Bates' tits floating on top of hot tub water.
You guys are I'm getting a chub here just thinking about it. Come on, stop.
Scarred me more than the boobs in The Shining.
It's one of those movies, and everybody has this movie. Everybody has this kind of film where it just speaks to you.
Right.
You know, it connects with you on some level, like in your own life with your own personal experiences, where it really just kind of speaks to what defines you as a person or what you think defines you as a person. And that's this kind of movie to me. Like, I get to the end of that movie and, you know, he's married his daughter off and he's alone. His wife's dead. He has nobody, anything in his life. And he's at just kind of this broken place. And he's like, you know, I'm going to die soon. And once I'm dead and everybody that knows me is dead, it'll be like I never existed. And I haven't made any kind of a difference in my life whatsoever. You know, and to me, in my life, that's what I strive to do. I always strive to make a difference. I always strive to just try to make people happy, to try to make an impact in as many lives as I can. And then he gets the letter from the little kid that he sponsors, and just he draws that picture of him, the little, you know, crayon picture, holding his hand, and Jack Nicholson with an amazing performance in that film, you know, just fucking breaks down at the end of the film because that's when he realizes that he has made a difference in somebody's life, you know, and that's it just speaks to me.
Gosh,
I think that
just does.
Incredibly poignant.
Nick,
I'm shocked that we just went
everybody
from
has
the
that
yucks
kind
we
of
were
movie.
having before to Nick's beautiful portrayal about Schmidt, because I
Yeah.
never looked at it that way.
I always wondered how big Morgan Freeman's cock was. He's like, you know, the only main black actor in the film, and I know that they're like usually pretty hung. So I was thinking about that, and I like it a little bit wrinkled and old and weathered. You know, kind of like he's been around the block a lot.
You like your shit
So-
broken in.
Should I base my rating off that? I don't even know. Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get this whole fucking thing. You fucking asshole.
I'm kind of disappointed.
Yeah, what does Morgan Freeman's cock rate?
You guys. I'm sorry.
It's
golden
it's
10 out
stronger.
of 10.
Here
It's
for
stronger
perspective
now.
on Black Cocks in America is Brentley Oliver. Brentley?
I swear to God, if you play that again, I'm going to smash this.
Fuck you, Piper. You're a fucking piece of shit.
I told Emily.
Have you ever wanted to jump through the internet and just murder somebody with your bare
Yeah,
hands?
it's Nick. It was the last time we recorded. I told Emily, she's like, "You hate I don't hate the mixer. I hate Nick's use of the mixer."
No, you hate the
Proper
soundboard.
use. Hashtag proper
Not the
use.
mixer. The mixer allows us to live stream, which I love. It's such a cheap, shitty moment because it doesn't do anything to earn it. He flies into the fucking hangar on accident. And then he's playing with the controls to try to figure out how to move the fucking ship and accidentally shoots a fucking torpedo. It blows the thing up. This is my rant for the week, by the way. But it's so
go.
It's so frustrating. It's so aggravatingly stupid. Like, the other pilots are like, we can't get through the deflector shield. The shield is too strong. So you can't shoot a fucking laser through it, but you can fly a ship right through it? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, it's so aggravating. I'm not even want to talk about it anymore. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Epic Film Guys podcast for Thursday, March the 10th, 2016. I am Epic Film Guy Nick. What the I am Epic Film. Hi guys, I'm Epic Film Guy Nick.
Hi guys, I'm Epic Film Guy Justin.
I sound like I got a dick in my mouth.
It's not for me yet, Nick. I haven't put it in there. I'm telling you, I didn't do it. It's not my fault.
Welcome back, like officially, I guess, to the whole podcasting thing. Podcasting has not been better for having been without you for that few months. So it's wonderful to have you back. And if you guys haven't checked out her show, please do. You son of a bitch.
That whole thing that we have.
You can do it. Cut his fucking head off.
Oh, God damn it! God damn you! You're gonna keep doing that to me, and you're to keep fucking me up. Totally.
I know it's so great because you're not used to hearing like sound effect drops. You're used to me just putting them in post, and you're like, "Oh, that was cool."
Nick, was it your number 3, baby?
All right, I'm gonna cop some flack for this. I gave Justin so much fucking blue balls after this. I went so far as to troll the shit out of him on Facebook last night after it won 7 Golden Globes and put a throw up emoji on there. This was Damien Chazelle's La La Land. Are you fucking kidding me? This movie's amazing. I about came in my fucking pants watching this thing. This thing was so good from that opening musical number. Paul's listening to this right now and he's like, musicals are shit. Fuck you, Paul. Gul'dan was, I thought, a great villain, on the orc side. But then you've got all of a sudden Medivh just, like, he's bad for whatever reason. He just is.
Because of the fell, whatever that means.
That's so fucking stupid. It was there were so many things.
Nick, your words right there just exactly perfectly described this film. You just said was so fucking stupid.
It completely fell apart in
and you're bombarded with all of this like terminology where within the world it would make sense for a character to proclaim something to the effect of, I am Drax Gronkdong, chieftain of the Sea Wolf tribe or whatever. But it's nonsense to us because we don't I don't know. Again, I'm going to go back to the comparison of Lord of the Rings. So we have our protagonist, Frodo Baggins, and he's naive and he doesn't know much about the outside world. And he ventures out into Middle-earth and goes on this grand adventure. And we see things through his eyes and we learn about the world as he does. Warcraft doesn't have a character like that.
And not only that, at the beginning of Lord of the Rings, especially the extended edition, what do you spend an hour doing? There's absolutely no forwarding of the plot whatsoever. All you're doing is getting invested in those characters. That's literally all you're doing, learning about their world, learning about their lives, and just living with them.
Hey, buddy, you gonna eat that sausage? You ain't gonna eat it, nobody is, huh?
Help yourself.
I guess not.
And how do you fit a cake into a man's ass, Justin?
You're not talking about the possible sex change that the Lisp had recommended a few months ago, right? You're talking about something else?
No, I didn't even know that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it's definitely not happening because that asshole, he's dead. He's gone. Dead and buried. But the way you mention it, I'm going through a lot of changes. The way that you put it just made me think of that jerk, and he threw that at me and wanted me to do that, and it's not happening. He's gone, ladies and gentlemen. Don't expect to
now
hear
we're
that
stuck
guy.
with this drunk bastard that just keeps pestering us for PBR and McDonald's. The Hopester is like an institution. Like, I guessed on other podcasts, and they talk about McDonald's in the Hopester. It's scary that this guy is just kind of becoming known. He's going to have a bunch of different places where he can go and mooch food and cheap booze off of people. I will preface this as saying I love Richard Pryor's stand-up. He is one of the most iconic stand-up comedians ever. I love his fucking material. I could still listen to it today. I do listen to it in the work truck from time to time because they play him all the time on the different Sirius channels and stuff like that. He's fucking hilarious. He was a legend in his time. He's still relevant today. He was great. Love him. He had no fucking business being in this movie. When I watched Superman 3 this past weekend, his character is so fucking useless to the plot of this fucking film whatsoever. It doesn't need to be him. His character I think it probably even maybe gets as much screen time as Superman does.
The first thing you get when you start to drink it and start to swallow it is the hops in the pale ale. But then all of a sudden the sweetness, it doesn't really finish. Like a blood orange, you'd expect more of a tart taste or a sour taste. You don't really get that. You get this really kind of sweet orange taste that just comes in almost like an afterthought at the end of it. It's really fucking weird.
Just like you. So it kind of fits along with your personality.
And this has been Justin's Lisp, guys. I am Justin's Lisp, Nick.
I'm Justin's Lisp / Justin. My number one, you already covered it. Coming from a fan of the Mad Max series,
which I was not.
Mad Max Fury Road, like the other films on my list, hit me in all the right spots. And even more so, because this is the kind of film that we do not see in this day and age. The practical effects and practical stunts and the way this film was shot.
Beautiful,
and could not have been done by anyone other than George Miller. And Junkie XL, by the way, gave a fantastic score here, very reminiscent of Hans Zimmer. Everything all around with this film was just perfect. I was blown the fuck away. I literally could not believe how good this film was.
I think we've talked about this privately. I don't know if we've ever really talked about it on the podcast. Oh my God. Wait a minute. I think he fought him back. The booze, he wasn't able to grab a hold of the booze and get out. Phew, man. Dude. It was close. It was close.
I'm very happy about that. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you're clapping. I took care of that pretty quickly. I'm proud.
You know what? I think right now, Emily's crying.
Right, well, I'll give you my very succinct feelings about the film. This is a reprehensible piece of shit. I was actually angry sitting through this for the second time. I remember.
I am glad that you actually watched it for the podcast again. So thank you.
I did. I thought, all right, well, maybe I didn't like it the first time around. I was like, oh, what a boring film. But
did you see it in the cinema? Did you see it in the cinema?
I did.
Awesome.
I did, sadly. Yep. And this is the first time for this podcast I rewatched it again, and I was angry. I was like, this is just, how can this film be so long? How does Superman not punch anyone at any point? Why is there no fight scenes? This is a superhero movie. He does nothing but lift things over his head that are progressively bigger and heavier.
All right, I believe in us. We can do this. This is just like a regular old show.
I mean, I don't give a shit. It's not my piece of shit to put out there, you know.
I don't know.
Sorry, I didn't understand the question of it.
Fix yourself!
The next film on my list, you already mentioned, Nick, and I was so mad at you for how low it was. And you know what? As much as I had problems with the trailer for this, I really, really hope for the best. This guy, well, this creature, this not a man in a suit, but a real gorilla, Kong Skull Island. Okay, it's on the list there.
You can't catch a third-rate hoodlum who
masquerades as the monkey.
What do you got guzzling down your gullet this evening?
In this universe, there's only one.
Arnold, cut me off. You son of a bitch.
Everything freezes.
What do you got guzzling down your gullet, my friend?
Well, I tell you right now, you asshole, I ain't drinking none of this shit that you assholes are drinking. What I got was down at the local corner store. It was a small little bottle of Mr. Boston, and I got it for free. See, what I did is this guy at the corner, he's just so used to me standing there. He's kind of feeling bad for me, so I stood there for a moment, and then I kept knocking on the glass, and I said, hey, I'll leave here, and more people will come in the store if you just give me a small bottle of Mr. Boston. Most people think of it as piss water, but I like it. I enjoy it. It lets me fall asleep well at night, and it makes me feel good about myself a little bit. So every couple of days, this gentleman, he'll give me a couple small bottles of the Mr. Boston. So that's what I'm drinking. Now, the hell with you and the hell with this Justin guy. I fucking hate him, and I hate you. I should have been making money off those Austrian gentlemen again for like the 10th time in a row. And that Patrick Sherwood gentleman, his ass ain't even invited me to live with him yet. I know he's loaded rich with money falling out of his pockets, but I ain't getting none out of him. He's putting me on t-shirts and the whole deal, but I ain't making nothing out of it.
That's all I have to say to you, Mr. Hopester. I'm just going to use the power of Mr. Freeze.
Winter is coming at last.
Wait, who? Wait, is this a new member on the show? Is he getting paid too instead of me? What's going on here?
I'd pay fat stacks of cash money to have Arnold's Mr. Freeze as a regular member of the show.
You're talking about sending booze to this guy and this other podcast or whatever. Why ain't you sending me nothing? Why ain't you sending me invitation to live with you and free booze? I'll be quiet and everything. I swear I'll just come on the show and then everyone will listen because I'm on the show. We all know that I'm the reason why anyone likes this show.
I left a skunked case of PBR down by that McDonald's down there in Herndon when I was down there last year to watch Batman vs. Superman.
Skunk nothing. Give me a pet skunk. I'll put a leash on that fucking thing and walk it around as a goddamn dog. I tell you that right now. I don't even, honestly, that Mr. Boston might have been half poisoned. I don't even know what I'm talking about.
Game over, man. It's game over.
What killed the dinosaurs?
The Ice Age.
And that's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the last film in our little retrospective here for Batman. It is time for 1997's Batman and Robin. And Justin,
Batman and Robin.
First thoughts on the film.
Honestly, Nick, I could not praise a film any more than I praise Batman and Robin.
Yeah,
This
I agree.
is what I would call a cinematic masterpiece, unlike anything that had ever come before or that we've seen since.
Mm-hmm.
This film is beautiful. This is just such a masterpiece that I think every single person in the entire world should see this film at least one time in their life. I wish they would re-release this in IMAX 3D. So
I wish they would do it every year.
World,
every single year.
Every year. They should do it once a year.
They do it with Rocky Horror.
Yeah. And I think that, honestly, this is a film that should be celebrated for generation after generation after generation. Joel Schumacher's Batman and Robin, ladies and gentlemen, is the best Batman film of all time. It is the best comic book related film of all time. It is above and beyond anything that we see now today or that we saw prior to it, Nick.
Yeah, it's probably close to the best film of all time. Let's really get right out in front of that, because this is
I'm sorry. You know what? I'm sorry, Nick. You're totally right. I completely misspoke. It is the best film of all time. I am going to gloat a little bit. I went and bought, ladies and gentlemen, a 65-inch 4K Ultra HD with HDR television.
I want to kind of make a free-for-all. Give people as much shit or as little shit as you want to for their picks. I don't fucking care. But John, what are... let's do all three of your picks. All three of your films, what you'd take to a desert island and why.
All right. Well, what I would actually go with would be like...
no, John, start over with words.
Words and sentences. Words and sentences there.
All I heard was, I said...
All right, Mama. So the movies I would actually pick to go with me on a desert island would actually be like Blazing Saddles, Rush Hour, and the 1990s TMNT.
Rush Hour
so out of place. Holy shit.
Me? What the fuck?
I want to
One
cry.
of these things is not like the other.
Holy shit, dude.
Oh my god.
This
I told you it was an absurd list.
What do we need to talk about Rush Hour. What the
Did
fuck,
you make
man?
this
Come
list
on.
after you got drunk?
Don't you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Rush Hour.
I like Rush Hour too, but I would never take that on a fucking desert island with me. Are you kidding me? Are you insane?
I've watched it a lot of times.
That's the movie you binge watch right before you build up the courage to kill yourself when you're stranded.
Let's be clear, this is not movies that you would leave on a desert island. This is something you have to take with you. So
I want to dissect these picks. Okay, so
John, did you make that list before or after you
Explain.
started drinking?
I think everybody's pretty much fine with the Turtles.
Yes,
Yeah, I respect.
I
the
think
shit out of
everyone's
Blazing
perfectly
Saddles,
fine
yeah.
with
I
Blazing
can't help
Saddles.
it.
But are you telling me are you trying to put yourself in some kind of fucking purgatory where you have to listen to Chris Tucker for eternity?
Well, okay. My backup choice originally was I thought maybe that would be way too like fucking old for to say like I was just going to continue to use like The Secret Life of Walter Mitty from 1947. And I figured everybody would just give me just as much shit. So I was like, I don't give a damn.
The lisp has not. I've got a control on it. I'm taking special medication.
I bet I could coax him out if I talk about dicks enough.
I don't know. Maybe if you talk about Patrick Swayze and Ghost, okay?
Whoa, my love, my darling. I'm gonna cut in the audio there because I can't really do it justice. I'm sorry. That's not gonna bring the lisp out. That's just gonna make your dick fucking wilt and fall off.
Yeah, honestly made it shrink into like a smaller section of my body. I don't even know where it went. Me and Epic Film Guy Nick actually got together late Christmas Eve, actually early Christmas morning. I was in town in New York.
And it was great to see you.
It was.
I must say.
Good to see you too, and you got to see the epicness of my hobo beard.
Oh. It was the first time I had seen the hobo beard in person, and the pictures don't do it justice because he looks about 7 times more homeless than he ever could possibly look in these photographs. I thought he stumbled in off the street. Like, he looked like he just walked like out from underneath the railroad underpass.
Hey, but I brought beer though.
You did bring beer, and it was a very good beer. Sierra Nevada's Celebration, which is a great, great beer. So thank you very much. It was very, very good, very, very good to see you, my friend. It was.
Literally, I was so interested in what her character was going to do next. I couldn't leave the theater, and I definitely had to piss like about halfway through. Like really, really bad. And I like struggled and my dick was hurting. I had to piss. I had to pee all over myself and I didn't. I just sat in my seat because I felt like if I missed literally, this is one of those movies. I'm just telling you right now. You guys have both been in the movies with me many times. You know that I get up a lot and piss.
Yep.
Like sometimes like 3-4 times if I have to, especially if I'm drinking beer. But this movie, I felt like if I had missed 3 or 4 minutes of dialogue, or even like 30 seconds, like I would miss an integral part of the film. So I just dealt with it. I just suffered through it.
Oh my God.
Hey guys, wait a minute. I swear to God, you guys just talked about Alice in Wonderland. I was just thinking, like, how cool it would be if I just laid out that statement, okay, about Disney paying off critics, and I just took a huge, major shit all over that statement. But first, I'd have to have a huge, gigantic 12-inch dick up my fucking ass so hard that it would come out smoothly all over that statement. I'm telling you right now, Nick, it's
So
totally
you don't
bullshit. I
believe that they're paying
totally
the critics either.
no, I totally like agree with you finally on like one thing, but for some reason I'm
Only
thinking
this
of
one
wanting.
thing, though. The rest of them,
I'm
no.
totally thinking of wanting the Hulk's pee-pee up my butthole. I don't know why. I just keep thinking of that. I don't know why. Or maybe one of those orca things. Orca. Are you guys talking about some kind of whale on the show? You guys keep saying like orc something. What
we
is
went and
that?
saw Free Willy Craft was the name of the film. It was all the orcas
really
move out of the ocean and try to take over the land because the ocean's being destroyed.
Oh my God!
Actually, that film probably would have made more sense than the plot of Warcraft.
If there was like a modern reboot or remake of Free Willy with like an all CGI orca, I would love it. It'd be so cool that I could picture myself riding on its back with a saddle and sparkles flying in the air with a rainbow behind it. I totally would love to do that. That'd be awesome.
I think we just need to get it out of the way, Nick. Are we going to cue this Nick's Rants theme? Are you going to cue it? Are you going to do it? Or are you just going to laugh your ass off the whole fucking time?
I can't cue the Nick's Rants theme because, like, literally when this happened in the movie, and I'm going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it or whatever. I don't care. It bombed horribly at the box office this weekend. Less than 20 million domestic. It's not going to make any money, and hopefully it'll go far, far, far away. But I about died when it happened. Okay, so in this film, all right, and Justin and I talked about this when we talked about the trailers and epic previews numerous times when we were looking at bits and pieces of the film, and I defended the fact that they were casting ScarJo as Major. I was like, in the film, in the anime film, the character's a cyborg. The character could literally be pretty much, whomever. So I embraced it, but I embraced it as kind of a hoping and maybe a prayer, that they were going to, stick a little bit truer to the source material than they did. And I mean, they did it's in certain ways and they didn't in other ways. I'm really not going to get into too much of a review about how good of an adaptation it is or isn't, because it's been so long since I've seen the anime film. But I mean, I did brush up on the plot of it.
Let's keep that out of it.
Yeah,
let's keep that out of it.
This film, it casts Scarlett Johansson, literally probably one of the most beautiful women in the world, as its lead actress. Okay, it whitewashes it. It does. Just let's get it out there in the open. It whitewashes the character of Major from Japanese to a white person. Okay, and then in the plot of this fucking movie, it gets all the way down to the end, and then you find out that Kusanagi, the original of the Japanese girl, was literally in the film whitewashed into the fucking Major. They not only did they whitewash the casting in this, they rewrote Ghost in the Shell to literally turn it into a film about whitewashing. They took a little Japanese girl and they upgraded her into the most beautiful white woman on the planet and made her like 1,000 times better. Are you fucking kidding me? And I've been laughing about it since I left the theater today because, like, literally they drop this plot point on you and they rush as fast as they fucking can to the ending, and then they just leave this bomb they dropped in your fucking lap. And I'm sitting there watching the end credits, and all I can think is, oh my fucking God, they whitewashed the story itself.
And here's the thing, Nick. Here's the thing. Let's get to it. Okay, so they did it. They did it, so they definitely did it, and they didn't seem to care about it, but they threw it in your face, and there was no purpose for it. They never explain it. They just do it, and they throw it in your face, and they just go, here, this is here for you, accept this.
Oh my God.
Is that the way Hollywood works today?
So you're number 3, Justin. We're getting down there.
Oh man, it is Fede Alvarez's Don't Breathe.
Yeah.
And I thought this film was absolutely brilliant.
My number 3 is Hail Caesar. Cannot fucking wait for that movie. It looks so good. I will say right now, Wolverine 3 is not going to be R-rated. I'm sorry.
I doubt it will be. I doubt it will be.
This is
too big of a character.
It should be, but it won't be.
It should be. I'll agree with that, Dan, because it'd be great to really, really sink into the brutality of that character in one last film with Hugh Jackman. But this is their franchise character, and this is their franchise actor playing that character. It's not going to go R. There's too much money to be made here. And if you're checking IDs at the door and turning away kids that just want to see Wolverine in one more movie, never going to happen.
I also want to thank the Drunken Dork podcast. I had posed a question to them on Twitter a couple weeks ago because they were kind of giving Thor some shit, really. The first Thor movie, the one that Ken Branagh directed. And I really, really like that movie. I really think it's a good movie. Granted, I'm a Shakespeare guy. I love Kenneth Branagh, so I love the Shakespearean bent that he put on all of the Asgard stuff. That's probably why that film did a lot more for me. They're avid comic book guys, and I'm not, so that was kind of the angle they approached it from as well. But they definitely gave us a big shout out in their most recent episode, so check them out as well. Their link will be in our show notes.
You should be handing me something. I heard someone told me that this podcast is only where it is now because I'm on it, because I show up here and there. I don't really know.
And a big thumbs down a few days ago, having morning sex with my girlfriend who happened to be pretty hungover. Yeah, in the middle of this, she got up and threw up.
Oh, man. I was really hoping you were going to say, like, right in the middle of it, she just projectile vomited all over.
At least she didn't throw up on your dick.
Yeah, she practically ran through the door. Yeah, she was, like, running for the toilet.
And then you got to give us your rating of part 2. Your part 2 rating.
I'm about to, but one last thing that I...
Get on with it. You're taking as long for this fucking review as the movie did to get to its point.
I know. That's all part of the plan.
Yeah, just let us know your favorite Bronson film, and maybe we'll pick one out for you. Just let us know.
Yeah, let Justin know. I'm not doing that shit. Somebody will send me a message and be like, oh, man, do you remember this part in Death Wish 2 when he does this and he does this? And I'll be like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sorry, Justin. He's getting mad. I feel
one of these days, I think if the first one I would have you watch, I know if you haven't seen Once Upon a Time in the West, you have to watch that one because that's an utter classic. That's one that you just have to see.
This has led to speculation by fanboys who love to fillet Boba Fett until there's no fucking tomorrow that Boba Fett's coming back. Boba Fett flew out of the Sarlacc.
He's in the
Boba
film.
Fett's gotta be. No, he's not. Fuck you. He's not in the film. He's not.
That's him.
He's
That's
dead.
him.
He's dead.
That's
he
him.
He is slowly being digested. He is 30 years into, and he's got 970 more to go inside the Sarlacc. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. He is a nobody. He is a zero, nothing character. He's got like 4 lines of dialogue in the entire original trilogy, and he gets bitch slapped by a blind dude, and his jetpack breaks, and he falls into a fucking big mouth in the desert.
My number 2, and I know this film's on your list, probably your number... I don't know. I'm going to say it's your number 1, not your number 2, because I know what's coming for number 2, and I'm going to hate you for it. But it is George Miller's Mad Max Fury Road.
I told you I can bring actual real celebrities on our show. Dustin Diamond. We got Robert Wool possibly coming
celebrities, on. Real celebrities. And then you say Dustin Diamond.
That's a real celebrity. Where
if you want to get him on the fucking show, if you want to get him on the show, go wake him up. I know he's on your couch right now, probably sleeping in a tattered fucking blanket with a torn up shirt. Like I said, he hangs out with the Hobster. I know that's what he's doing there. He's probably the one that dives into the dumpster and gets the double cheese out for the Hobster. He's probably the Hobster's bitch at this point.
Tonight, I am joined by composer, musician, and son of iconic film director John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter, to hang out and answer a few questions. If you were lucky enough, you may have seen Cody on stage this year while he was out on tour, playing a string of shows throughout the U.S. promoting Lost Themes 2, an album that both he and his dad collaborated on. Cody, I have to say it's a huge honor to have you on the show, and I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to chat with me.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
How did the first Lost Themes album come about? Was it a concept you and your dad had been planning on for a long time? Was it something you just kind of felt like out of nowhere, like, this is a great idea, why haven't we done this yet?
Well, it started when my dad, he got a new computer and he got a really nice recording setup. He got a bunch of plugins and stuff. So I would go over to his house and we'd go downstairs and we'd just kind of mess around trying to figure out the program. And, we were recording stuff. It was all kind of, improvisation and stuff like that. Right. So after we did a bunch of that, I went off to Japan. I lived there for a number of years for work. And so then my dad, he sends me an email and he's like, can you do a little bit more material? They're talking about releasing a CD. So I guess his music lawyer had asked him if he had any material he wanted to release. And so he sent the stuff that we had just been messing around with. So at that point, my dad brought in Daniel Davies, who is the third part of this whole thing. And they did some more material, and I did some more material from Japan. And they released it, and that's sort of how it came about.
Ooh, hello, Epic Film Guys. This is Patrick Swayze's Ghost. I have a different voice up here, calling you from beyond the grave. This message is mainly for Epic Film Guy Nick. Ooh, what's up, Nick? I want to mend this rift between us and start clean. Ooh, give me a chance to melt that cold heart of yours, Nick. I want to be your featured January actor. Ooh, but I mainly want to say I love you. By the way, Roadhouse, Ghost, Point Break, all classics, Nick. Check them out. And Donnie Darko's okay. Get on that one. But I've got to go. More Ghost voicemails to leave. Love you too, Justin. Patrick Swayze's Ghost. Ow!
They're doing some kind of a horror festival in 35 millimeter.
Oh, horror. Okay, I thought you said horror festival. Like there were a bunch of horrors lined up for you.
If I could afford a whore, you better believe I'd be getting laid right now. I'm not talking to you. But hey, that's how it works. That gentleman, he invited me to a 35 millimeter screening of An American Werewolf in London. And I'm hoping I get to go there because I heard that a lot of rich people go there and they go to see these horror movies and they unload buttloads of cash. And they be all stand out front and they be all even get in the movie and get some warmth. I'll be able to sleep in the theater. I don't know. Ask that Patrick Sherwood gentleman about it. He said that movie Critters is showing An American Werewolf in London. You'll have to ask him. But hey, fuck the Epic Film Guys. They haven't been feeding me nothing. I ain't been drunk in less than 2 days.
We don't feed you anyway. You find all your food in the dumpster behind McDonald's. What the fuck am I supposed to do?
It's getting warmer down here. A lot of people are throwing out half-eaten burgers, but it's at Wendy's, which ain't as good as McDonald's.
Yeah,
so I
feel you there. I don't like eating cardboard either.
So it is what it is. But hey, fuck you guys for not inviting me on or giving me a piece of the proceeds of your show. I hate you bastards. I wish I got onto a rich podcast that had lots of money.
Because of these little douche fuck goddamn motherfucking stupid fucking son of a teddy bear asshole pieces of shit Ewoks. Like, and take the Jabba's palace sequence, take Luke and Vader on the Death Star with the Emperor, take the space battle, the best Star Wars film ever by itself, even better than Empire, even better than the stuff that we got in Empire. Completely just they shit on the rag and then they just smear it all over the screen and it's fuzzy and it's furry and yub and these stupid teddy bear fucking pieces of shit wandering around. I hate Ewoks. They are the cheapest, shittiest species in Star Wars. They're like the shittiest characters ever created in a film. And the fact that they're able to stand up against the Galactic Empire, which is supposed to be this intensely formidable force with fucking bolas and spears and sticks and shit, when they got laser rifles. Fucking laser rifles! You can shoot the fucking things and they'll burn to death! This is my rant for the week, I guess.
This week's edition of Nick's Rants.
But that's the fucking... It's so poorly written. It's terrible. It's unbelievably bad. And it's even worse that it is sandwiched cut in between the greatest Star Wars movie ever.
I hope you just kind of clip it, like splice words together so it sounds like I'm saying something really offensive. But you can tell that it's just a copy-pasted sentence where it doesn't flow at all.
Little bits.
Fuck the Mexicans.
They're raping all the Jyn Erso Star Wars.
Star Wars Rogue One was a piece of shit, fucker.
Star Wars Rogue One fucks white boys.
I like big white butts. Suck my dick. Suck my dick. Suck my dick, you fuck man. This motherfucker told me I had to eat his ass for a bag of coffee.
We could not let this month go by without celebrating the greatest performance in the history of fucking cinema.
The greatest, the best. I'm still to this day, Nick, shocked, outright appalled at the fact that he did not get nominated and not win Best Actor, or Best Supporting Actor, I should say. Actually, no, Best Actor. He's like the most important part of the film.
He is the most
Batman
prominent role in the film by far.
They're the harbingers of your doom.
Instead of getting a nomination and an Oscar win, Arnold went off and made an illegitimate child with his Mexican maid, and they have a child now named Joseph, and he's actually the closest thing to the classic Conan the Barbarian Arnold Schwarzenegger that out of any of the kids that he's had. This kid is jacked. He looks just like Conan the Barbarian. So whatever, we got mini Conan out of the deal. So.
The Shallows, 2 out of 10. Fuck that movie. That movie was so.
You know what, Nick? I'm going to make you go to
bad.
the beach. I'm making you go to the beach. I'm going to invite you to the beach next year. I'm going to make sure there's a beach where the great whites like to hang out at during the summer. Hey, man, they might even take care of your foot problem for you.
They
you can
might.
get like an animatronic foot or something.
Yeah, they might. That is very, very true. I just, I do intend at some point to go back and listen to your review to try to figure it out. I know Loy Sauce took a pretty good exception with it because I was dissing the way that the shark was behaving and just like, but that's why it's a movie. And suspension of
That's
disbelief.
true, though.
Suspension of disbelief only goes so fucking far. I expect a shark in a movie like this to be a movie monster to some fucking degree, but no, fuck this movie.
Nick,
fuck everything.
That just goes back to the fact that you don't. Hey,
you know why this movie sucked? You know why this movie
No,
sucked?
I don't, because it didn't suck. It was awesome.
From the beginning, unbelievably beautiful. And I got this on Blu-ray, so I got to watch it in crisp, beautiful 1080p.
It's one of the best shot films
Super
of the
HD.
year.
It's so beautifully shot, and then they fucking ruin it by throwing fucking pop-up windows of fucking cell phone calls and text messages
I get
over
that.
the screen
I get that.
all
I get
the
that,
fucking
Nick.
time.
I totally get that. Get that. You know what?
Made me sick.
For even people that like the film, I get that. I get that problem with it. I understand that. Let's leave the Shallows
Blake
alone,
Lively was hot, though.
It's a great movie.
Shut up.
Don't listen to him. But yeah, so
in my brain, if I Google Patrick Swayze plus acting, it's just going to return 0 results. So, yeah.
Bird. I'll burn you. I'll put you on. I'll set you on fire, throw you into a bonfire, and just watch you roll around in it.
How in the hell are you out there, everybody, in podcast land? I am Epic Film Guy Nick. And I'm Justin, and I'm also an Epic Film Guy.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot I was even on this show. Oh yeah. So I'm Justin. I'll be on the show and I'll speak some words when I get a chance. I'm here though. I'm here in spirit.
The amazing shots of the bat crotch and the bat ass and the bat nipples. Of course, who could forget the nipples? The suit had nipples.
Oh, dude. Honestly, anytime I watch it, hey, wait a minute.
Oh boy. There's a.
Yeah, that's like what I really like to talk about. There's a bat suit with nipples, and they're so sexy. They look like real nipples, Nick.
Justin's Lisp, if you had to give the opening of this film a rating, like where they're showing all the crotches and everything, what would you rate that part of the film?
100 million out of 10.
Ooh.
It's so good. I mean, honestly, anytime I watch this movie, I start off, and it's not even Clooney. I mean, I know everyone has a thing for Clooney, but Chris O'Donnell in that makeshift Nightwing suit. Oh my God, look at him in that movie. Oh God, he's got that like really nice short buzz haircut that was like totally out by the late 90s, but they still had him wearing it for some reason. But I really like that. And oh my God, he just looks so good in that movie. And Alicia Silverstone, from my favorite movie of all time, Clueless, and she's playing Batgirl. Oh my God, she's so great in this movie. Her performance is like above and beyond. You could consider her like a modern Molly Ringwald in the movie.
Alicia Silverstone was like the quintessential 90s girl in movies. Her and Drew Barrymore, I think, really like the 90s
Drew Barrymore,
girls.
like, she played that sugar girl in Batman Forever.
That is true. She absolutely did. We just finished talking about that, Lisp. I don't know if you heard any of that conversation.
I wasn't really that much around for it. Justin's taking this special medication and he's doing this treatment to kind of hide me away. It's not working that well, especially when you talk about nipples and asses and cocks and assholes and all kinds of stuff like that I really like. And Batman and Robin really reminds me of that, especially Arnold, because Arnold's so great during that movie. Nick, did you know that during the making of that movie, when his wife was away on vacation, Arnold impregnated his maid and had an illegitimate child?
I did hear that. I did.
That happened, yeah. My question is, why didn't he name the child Little Freeze or like Mr. Freeze Jr. or something like that? That would have been way much more relevant to what was happening at the time.
Yeah, it would have been. But I mean, I guess, I don't know. I guess he was so busy banging the maid.
No, stop it. Yo, fuck this shit. Get out of here.
You good? You good?
Dude, I think I just broke my nose, man.
I think they need to up the dose on that medication.
Wait, did he talk about that? Did he actually tell you what was going on?
Oh, he knows. He knows everything.
This is worse than I thought.
The Lisp.
Deadpool.
In between moans at some club he was at. Lisp told me.
Tonight, it's airing in the UK, and we've a friend of mine, which is the friend of mine of a friend of mine, and a cousin of mine who fucked a friend of mine who stuck his cock in another guy's asshole, who was a friend of mine at a club, who wanted to suck my dick of a friend of mine at another club. It's a gay club, but that pretends to be a straight club. So a friend of mine. Yeah, so whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah.
I don't even know where to go with that.
You wouldn't.
They're explaining the Force. They're actually giving definition to what it is. And it's a really lame
a definition
bullshit.
That it doesn't need.
It ruins the whole mystique of all of it. It completely ruins it. So that's why I had to put it my number 2.
It's an infection. The Force is an infection. Anakin Skywalker basically has like the strongest case of Force peas.
It's AIDS, man.
Or
you have something called
Jedi AIDS.
You've got AIDS, and it's gonna make you have very special powers, but then you're gonna fucking die. Okay.
Does AIDS give you special powers? I'm confused now.
No, but it's the closest thing I could think of that's like a real thing, other than cancer. But no, you don't get anything out of that.
Some of the nuggets, some of the truths that I dropped about this movie as I watched through. Am I supposed to feel as awkward watching this as the actors seem to be acting in it? Dakota Johnson just gave this someone actually wrote this shit look. I said people don't talk like this probably at least a dozen times, which Paul pointed out. I said I know this is Twilight fanfic, but seriously, the Stephenie Meyer School of Character Development is in overdrive here. I'm in for 2 hours of being told that these two are into each other. It's not even that the dialogue is bad. There's just so much of it. I have never heard this much talking in a movie ever. Literally every single thing these characters are thinking is turned into dialogue. There's nothing visual. Holy shit, stop talking. Oh my God. And this is a quote from the movie. I'm incapable of leaving you alone. So my response was, so you're a sexual predator. Which, wow. We'll get to that a little bit fucking later on. A question that Jamie Dornan's character, Christian Grey, asks in the film. Would you like a drink? Something I should have considered far before I sat down to fucking watch this movie. Justin, what's the one quote you were telling me about? I don't make love.
I fuck. That's an actual quote from this movie.
So I saw a guy who looks like this gentleman that you guys refer to all the time on the show. I saw him leaving the gay bar, so I thought it was him and I followed him. I thought he might have a few quarters in his pocket to help me out with a couple of double cheese.
Yeah, that's
unfortunately, it was not. It was a drag queen, and they beat the living shit out of me because I asked them for a few quarters. I said, excuse me, ma'am, can I have a couple quarters? And they said, no, ma'am, I'm a man. And I said, well, I can't tell. You look beautiful in that dress. And then they punched me in the eye. I swear I still can't see that well out of it right now because of it.
How many balls has Wayne touched? Things like that.
Well, I could only account for the number of balls Wayne touched when I was in the room, but otherwise, his business is his own.
And that was several.
For me, there was at least 4.
Why Bryan Singer decided to make this film in the 80s is beyond me, aside from that shoehorned in scene of the characters going to see Return of the Jedi, which, by the way, shot itself in the fucking foot because it bashes the third film in a trilogy. It's there as a stab in the back to Brett Ratner's The Last Stand, when this film, in fact, is actually almost as bad as The Last Stand, if I might even say it, Nick, as bad as The Last Stand to me, in my opinion. So I don't know why, aside from a few wardrobe choices, why they chose to have this film set in the 80s and not just a couple of years after Days of Future Past. It didn't benefit the film at all. That had nothing to do with what was going on in the 80s. The characters didn't feel like they were in the 80s outside of a few wardrobe choices. So
yeah, there was
timeline.
I mean, the dress. I mean, I will say, as far as the setting itself and the costuming, I think they did the 80s pretty good justice. But I completely agree with you in the fact that makeup just didn't show up, I guess. The makeup department was completely busy working on Oscar Isaac's makeup as Apocalypse, and
which
forgot
we'll get to
that they needed to age up all these other characters and actually make them look like they were in their 40s now. Most of these characters were around in First Class in 1962.
Or they just don't give a shit. Or Nick, I just think honestly what it boils down to is that Bryan Singer didn't give a shit, as he didn't give a shit with a lot of what happened in this movie, which another major thing that we all go to the movies to see, Nick, it's called acting. And this film had some of the worst acting of any comic book movie I've seen in years.
Don't be throwing up that PBR there, hipster / hobo Justin.
No,
Special
Nick,
shout out.
It's just that I really, really liked. I'm telling you right now, hey, you act surprised to hear from me. Are you like excited or something? Is there something in your pants that may be growing like a slithering snake through the field?
We've been a little bit concerned about you there, Lisp, because we haven't heard from you in weeks and weeks. And meanwhile, we've got this fucking hobo / hipster running around up in here drinking PBR. I figured you followed me down to Punta Cana for my honeymoon, and you were down there banging every dude you could find on the beach.
That sounds really great, actually. But, you know, lately, Justin doesn't like to drink the heavier beers, but tonight he chose this thing that's called Sly Fox, which obviously fits very well in with my personality. A lot of people call me a Sly Fox, you know, because I am quite foxy, Nick. So I always thought like Professor X stood for Professor X-rated, that he like did porno movies or something. I don't know. It's good to hear from you, Nick. Like, I'm really excited to
Emily's going to get really sad right now as Justin beats himself to death. But as I was saying, we have a special shout out to one Patrick Sherwood for your mock-up of hobo/hipster Justin with the little fucking hobo hat and the ripped up coat and everything. It looked hilarious. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Justin, welcome back.
You need to throw him a black cheeseburger from Burger King.
Dude, honestly.
And make him shit green.
That thing looks... I feel like I have to have that just because. Like, if I have enough of these beers one of these nights...
Let me tell you something about me that not a lot of people know. I used to be gay. I mean, I'm still gay, but I used to be really gay. Like, suck so many dicks I wouldn't get anything done gay. But, you know,
Batman. Was that my sound check? Because I assumed it was.
Yes.
That's what I thought. Okay. I figured I would
We're
just
heroes now. We save lives now. Past can't change that. I mean, you used to sell swords and me with my excessive dick sucking.
This is former President Bill Clinton, and I want to talk about the butt.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's fucking amazing.
Wes, I love you so much.
I love you.
All right. Fuzzy
the gayest way possible.
Stanley Tucci tickled some taints. Tufty taints.
All right, Dan.
Hello. This is Dan. I'm doing a sound check.
Caleb.
You suck, Dan. You suck, Dan.
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
All right, and Shampoo.
The gypsies, they don't like it when you call them gypsies. But we call them gypsies because they're fucking gypsies.
This is jar of gypsy tears. It will prevent the AIDS.
By the way, that is a direct quote from a Romanian guy that I know.
I was about to say, fucking Romania.
All right, we started with a Justin.
Mary.
We started with a Justin. We will end with a Justin. Justin Winters.
What's up? Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
That wasn't funny at all.
He's used to it.
I picked 3 sets of actors to play myself and Justin in an Epic Film Guys movie, depending on a couple different factors. So this is like a back in the day, like a 60s, 70s comedy setting. I picked the great comedy duo of Zero Mostel as myself and Gene Wilder as Justin. How fucking awesome would that film be as a comedy? That would be great. And now, if we made it as a comedy nowadays, okay, I picked Josh Gad as myself. That's like the nerdy guy from The Wedding Ringer. And I picked, Justin's going to love this, I picked Chris Pratt as Justin.
Wow. I'm honestly, I've almost got tears running down my
Here we go.
That is a compliment right there.
No, wait. And if we were casting this as an Oscar bait style drama, okay, Philip Seymour Hoffman as Nick and Michael Fassbender as Justin.
Wow.
That's what I got.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm being honest here. Play the emotional music in the background. I'm not even kidding. The fact that I just saw Michael Fassbender in my head and then myself included in that, I have a tear running down my cheek. I'm not even kidding. I'm dead serious. I'm going to take a picture of it. I'm going to send it to the page so you can see it.
You could probably fit your little pee-pee in this because it's got that wide mouth opening for the big jug. So
my pee-pee.
Yeah. I have one last thing I wanted to mention here as we wrap up the Real Rundown for this week. This is officially the last Epic Film Guys content that will be produced in the original Epic Film Guys studios because I will be out of here this weekend.
Oh, man, that's kind of sad.
Yeah, so it is the end of an era, if you will. This is where me and Justin recorded a lot of the video reviews that we did when we did video reviews. Back when Justin still lived in the area. And, I love those memories. They were great times. And I'm glad we got the podcast back because at least we got back some of that dynamic. But, yeah, this is it. This is going to be the last thing ever recorded here at the original Epic Film Guys studios. So once I move, we'll christen the new Epic Film Guys studio New York. But yeah, no, I want to thank Justin for all the great memories here and all of our visitors that we had here. Matt Parks and his jerky gold, bringing us fat chunks of jerky.
Jerky gold marinade.
Record our podcast and everything like that.
Still a quiet sponsor in the
Still
shadows.
a quiet sponsor when the wife lets him talk to us and come visit us and stuff like that. But
we are going to jump into Justin.
This is new.
It's a brand new segment tonight. This is a brand new segment where we're going to review new trailers this week. And it's called Epic Previews.
In the world of Endicott, New York and Herndon, Virginia, two epic film guys dissect the latest movie trailers in a segment we like to call Epic Previews.
No pumpkin this week. I got in trouble by filling my wife's pumpkin bottle full of water and pretending it was beer and putting it back in the fridge. I did it. If you listen to last week's podcast, you'll know that I drank the pumpkin during the podcast. I filled it up with water, put it back in the fridge, and my wife didn't believe me the entire day that I did that until later that evening. And then I had to go buy her another bottle, and I got scolded for it.
My number 2, Justin, is a film that you already talked about way criminally low on your list. I ought to come through this microphone and hit you, smack you up, send the ape man down there to beat the shit out of you.
There ain't no ape man. It's a man in a suit, not a real gorilla.
You're trying to run an efficient police force, and you can't catch a third-rate hoodlum who masquerades as a monkey. I was blown away by this fucking film. I absolutely loved it. It's 10 Cloverfield Lane, dude. I fucking love this movie. John Goodman's performance being missing from award season baffles the shit out of me because he's so brilliant. In my opinion, I mean, if you're the kind of person that has and this was literally like a handful of screening in major markets across the country, and you had your chance to buy a ticket to fucking like any number of like a couple of dozen other screenings at the same fucking theater. Stop being a fucking crybaby bitch. Like, this is a very, very important moment in film, and it's a very, very important moment in comic book films where we get an amazingly strong, and as many points as I want to get at of things I didn't like about this film, the portrayal of Wonder Woman in this film as a very, very strong, well-realized female character is fucking brilliant, and they deserve all the credit in the world for that. And yeah, you know what? If you want to let women just celebrate that fact, because this character means so much to so many, like, look at all the little pictures of all the little girls and stuff that like are just like look up to this poster, or with Gal Gadot with little girls and stuff. Go fuck yourselves. Like, legitimately 100%. If you had a problem with this, go fuck yourselves.
Number 6 is Attack of the Clones.
Okay.
Number 5 is The Phantom Menace.
Yep. Okay.
Even though one of my favorite sequences from the entire film franchise is in that film, which, as I talked about last week,
Jar Jar riding the tank, the barrel of the droid tank, and swinging around.
Misa like dick in my mouth. No, yeah. So, number 4,
Sith.
I'm waiting for and I like.
But anyway, go on.
Understand.
What's your number 3?
And get this, I am the minority here. My number 3 is A New Hope.
Nice. Okay. All right.
After rewatching through, I had to really take some time to think about it. It is the film that changed it all. It's such an important film to film history. It's a classic, above and beyond Jedi for sure. But when I'm putting these films together and like what makes me emotionally invested in these characters, I think that Jedi being my number 2 makes a huge difference. This has nothing to do with Ewoks or, as you said in your recent review of A New Hope that we posted on our page yesterday. Yep. The soap opera elements are really, top the dial's turned all the way up past 10, with the Han Solo, Princess Leia scenes. It's just really over the top. But even though I like those, Empire is my number 1. It's cliche. I don't care. It's one of the best films ever made.
Jedi,
it's one of the best films of all
Jedi
time.
At your number 2 then. What's up, everybody? It is the Epic Film Guys podcast. Fuck. God, of course I fuck it up. Stop the movie.
All right.
Of course I'd fuck it up.
You always do.
I never can get the first one right. Those jitters or whatever it is, I gotta get them out.
I got jitters too, man. This is a big deal.
This is a big deal. All right. So, all right. In 1, 2, 3. Hello, everybody. And what the fuck? Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Calm down a second. I have to piss again. One more second.
All right. So again, we'll go on 3.
Okay.
All right. And 1, 2, 3. Oh, shit. Now I forgot what I was going to do for the over. Hang on. Stop. God damn it.
I'm going to kill you.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to kill you. You idiot. You made me. Remember?
You dropped me into that vat of chemicals.
Hey, you think your life is hard? The last time I had a piece of ass, I was fucking an old rotten ham that they threw out back of an Aldi's supermarket.
Aldi's? I never even heard of that. I only hang out with the inner city guys.
Oh,
I don't even know what you're speaking of. Did you want to drive off the bridge that I live under right now? Because that's where I'm living, is under a bridge. It's not that tall. You'd probably live if you drove off of it.
Oh, okay, Hopester, I don't want to live if I drive off a bridge. I just want to just end it, if that's the case.
But what if...
Just so you know.
I don't know, man. Yeah, you might find yourself a couple cases of PBR down there, and there might even be a couple bags left of old McDonald's down there that you could even still eat, because you know that kind of food from McDonald's doesn't go bad. It just kind of hardens. You can still eat it like a year later, and you can still fill your stomach with it.
That's okay, Hopester. I'm going to spend all my money on Chipotle and then go bankrupt and die.
I hope you'll invite me for this
I
fancy,
just got this picture of the Hopester
Mexican
just chewing on this
cuisine.
like year-old Big Mac that's hard as a brick.
Maybe I'll come back later if you talk about something more interesting.
Okay, well, before you go, Dan and Kev from the Something Podcast want to know, what's your favorite pizza topping? So you could talk about sausage again.
I do like a very large summer sausage. As long as it's really long and they cut it up properly and put it on the pizza perfectly. It has to be even. I don't like it when it's like really uneven and like there's 3 pieces of sausage on one piece and there's like 2 on another. Get out of here. Get out of here.
All right, I'm gonna go a little off the walls here. I'm gonna say Mad Max Fury Road, because it takes place in Australia. And I love you, Paul and Wayne, but how about a good old Foster's?
It's Australian for beer.
And apparently, according
Mel
to
Gibson, Australian for Jew hater. Australian for anti-Semite.
Well, your performance as an epic film guy, you need a little work on that. But
in the 5th vignette, it's basically about a character that is the director of this film filleting himself with his own words. Like literally, he's on the phone with these boring studio executives in Hollywood that only ever greenlight cookie cutter, shitty blockbusters, just absolute garbage films. And his character, whomever, I don't know if that's the actual director or not. I don't know. I didn't ever connect that dot.
I checked the cast. It's not.
Oh, okay. So it's this character basically for 20 minutes defending the genius of his film within his film. Literally, I seriously, I messaged Paul on Twitter. I was like, this dude is giving himself fellatio in his own goddamn dialogue. And then, like, I messaged early on, especially during the therapy scene, that this guy really wants to pretend he's Tarantino, or he wants to think he's Tarantino, only he has absolutely none of the craftsmanship for character or dialogue that Tarantino has. These characters are just saying the same thing over and over and over and over again in a slightly different way. They're having 20-minute conversations that could very, very easily be abridged to a 2 or 3 minute conversation. Shit you not. And then he gets to a point in that 5th vignette where he's like, fuck Quentin Tarantino, fuck the Oscars, fuck Hollywood. And it's like, I can't believe I'm even fucking watching.
It just feels like a really, really bad case of sour grapes. It doesn't come across as clever. It doesn't come across as engaging. It just comes across as, well, you know this wasn't going to go anywhere, so you're trying to defend it from within.
This movie's fucking shit. You should have never made it. Bring in Brainiac or bring in something. Bring in a real villain. What are you guys doing? This is crap. No one wants to see this. I'm giving Superman 3 a 2 out of 10.
Damn.
It's not even something that on a nostalgic value or on a cheesy value that I would ever want to put in to watch again. I love Richard Pryor. I'll go watch any movie he did from the 80s outside of this. Hey man, I'll watch The Toy 55 times in a fucking row before I watch Superman 3. My number 2 is Shane Black's The Nice Guys, which also sports.
Wow. I knew this was going to be on your list. I was surprised I hadn't heard it yet.
Yeah, it was, you go to the movies for a reason. And this is all these films.
This is why. This is why.
And I want to be entertained. I want fun. I want great chemistry between these characters. I want great written characters.
Fuck, was that
I want a great
movie good.
script. I want great cinematography. And I want everything that you'd want. And, Nice Guys was completely underrated for me. It was critically well received. Nick loved it. I loved it. We both talked about it. Loisos loved it. And, it made no money. It was put up against Neighbors 2
so fucking
and a couple of
disappointing.
movies. I'd love to see a sequel.
One of the best movies of the year. She struck a chord with me when she said, that you guys are multimillionaires. You guys are part of the Hollywood system. You guys are, you're not getting nominated, but you're still making tens of millions of dollars. When people out there can't pay their bills, people out there are starving, people out there are having a problem, and you're millionaires arguing over this thing, and it's like, that's not the way the world should work, I was coming home from work today, and we had to stop for gas about halfway back. I needed to get gas, or we wouldn't have been able to get home, and there was an old man there who fell out of his truck. He couldn't get back up into his truck. He didn't have the power to get back up into his truck. So me and another gentleman that were at the gas station, we were holding, the guy. I got down on the ground and I put his arm around my neck, and I was trying to lift him up, and the other guy was trying to help lift him up to get him up into his truck, and it stank to high heaven. There was shit caked on the guy's seat in his truck, and I got covered in it on my legs and stuff like that. But when we were talking to the guy and when we were talking to the clerk at the gas station, she had mentioned that his wife had recently passed away, and that this was a guy who there was his truck was full of Miller High Life cases and empty gas station pizza boxes. So and just the fact that it smelled so bad, and he clearly hadn't changed his clothes or shaved or taken a shower even in weeks and everything. It's just somebody that had just given up on life. And I was reading all this stuff about Oscars So White, and about boycotting awards for excellence in film, and about these people that are out there complaining and all this stuff like that. And then I think about that guy who probably was married to some lady that he loved very dearly for 40 to 50 years, and she dies of whatever she died from, and then this guy, he's just given up on life because he's got nothing left to live for. So he just completely lets himself go, so much so that he's so weak he can't pull himself up into his truck to drive home and drink a can of Miller High Life. And it's hard for me to disagree with Aunt Viv when she says that these guys are focused on the wrong fucking things. And they are. They really are. And I love the Oscars. I love award shows. I love awards season. And I'm still going to watch the Oscars. I'm not boycotting the show. Boycotting the show is not going to do shit anyway, because it's the makeup of the Academy that needs to be changed. But I will say that if Spike Lee and Jada Pinkett Smith and all these people want to affect real change, they need to get the fuck down off of their fucking mountains and help people of all creeds, of all colors, of all sexual orientations and what have you, that are down. You don't just leave some fucking poor old guy sitting in the 15-degree windy ass fucking cold in Richford, New York, sitting on the ground outside of a gas station, you know, and, you know, you're worried about fucking millionaires winning awards for making tens of millions of dollars. It's not fucking right. It's bullshit. 100%. And that's all I got to say.
My number 3 is a movie that I ranted and raved about, and I saw it a handful of times in the theater. I loved the hell out of this movie. It's Colin Trevorrow's Jurassic World, because this movie for me was an experience.
What do you think, Nick? We've got Val Kilmer as Bruce Wayne and Batman. I know how I feel about him. I want to hear what you think about him.
I think he's fucking terrible.
As both or just Batman?
As both. As both. He seems, the entire time he's in this film, and this is probably the biggest detriment to the film for me, he seems completely detached and disinterested. Especially when he's playing Batman. His Bruce Wayne's a little bit better, I think, than his Batman. His line delivery is all fucking over the place. You can't even get a beat on him. Like, every time you want to like him for like one scene he's in or one scene he's in here or whatever, then he just goes and acts like a complete fuckwit. And the next one, you know, R, what's that stand for? Like,
Robin.
I know we make a lot of fun of that scene and a lot of the different scenes in that film, but it's like, it's line delivery like that is just, it's cringeworthy.
I agree.
Despicable.
I
think,
can agree
honestly,
with that.
if I had to pinpoint one part of this film that I dislike the most, it would probably be Kilmer's performance as Batman. They need to do better work than Marvel did, or even that they did themselves in fucking Suicide Squad with that garbage joke of a villain Enchantress with her fucking fun wavy arm dances. Like, ooh.
She's the wacky waving inflatable tube man.
Yeah.
But
I just did the arm thing here. I don't know why.
I can picture you.
Audio only
wacky
format.
waving inflatable tube man, Enchantress. Buy yours now.
My second podcast award in the indie podcast category goes to a podcast that surprised and impressed me. At first, I did not think that the Epic Film Guys podcast would interest me at all. I'm not particularly movie savvy, and I definitely don't keep up to date on current events in the movie world. Quite frankly, I thought I would be lost. I listened to the podcast in an attempt to provide critical feedback on a forum, as I catch a lot of details and they were asking for constructive criticism. I listened to one episode after another and had no advice to give. The production quality was great. The editing and content were spot on. I was interested from the start, and best of all, I never felt out of the loop. On the contrary, I found myself learning more about movies that are coming out and being able to chime in on conversations with my husband about upcoming comic movies he is excited about. The hosts, Nick and Justin, come to each episode well-researched and prepared with interesting facts and stories that can be enjoyed by film buffs and novices alike. Similar to the way non-car people can easily enjoy car talk, people of all levels of interest in movies can enjoy and learn from the Epic Film Guys podcast.
Wow.
That was an award that we received from Lisa from the Our Story podcast. She actually started this just kind of her own awards for podcasts and recognized us as an indie podcast. So I just wanted to read that to you, Justin. That's what one of our new fans, I guess, said about the Epic Film Guys. So thank you very, very much, Lisa.
What are you doing down there, Judge Hershey?
Waiting for backup.
It's here, just like it was here at the Golden Globes. All three of my daughters are here.
I wanted to see a reunion.
No Rob Schneider, though.
I wanted to see a reunion of Stallone, Rob Schneider, and Diane Lane on stage. The 20th anniversary of Dredd was like 2 years ago, and they didn't do anything for that fucking Golden Globes. Fuck the Hollywood horn for. Fuck the Hollywood.
You just said horn press. You just said the Hollywood horn press.
Fuck the Hollywood horn press, those bastards.
Oh, I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to hurt you really, really bad.
I am actually surprised that this is not your number one.
It's not my number one. I just honestly, I don't give a shit. I love everything about this. So it's my number 3, Suicide Squad.
One more film to go, and that is my number one, Justin. And I already know you know what it is. And I was fist pumping in my fucking seat last night when I was watching the Golden Globes. I about leapt out of my fucking seat when Viola Davis won for Best Supporting Actress.
I knew it.
Fences, baby. Right now, this is absolutely number one, the best film that I saw this year. Nothing blew me away more than the performances of Denzel Washington and Viola Davis in this film. Justin, they took me, and you said that before perfectly about La La Land, and I agree with you about La La Land in that aspect, by the way, because that was such a brilliant fucking movie. Fuck! Oh, I loved it. I was taken to the max and home. I was transported to 1950s Pittsburgh.
And I know you have a lot to say about this. The whole Kylo Ren being Luke Skywalker. Let's hear it.
Christ.
Go. Unleash it.
Well, no, this is going to be part of a new segment that we're going to do called Nick's Rant.
Wrong! I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore! Dennis! I'm going to send you to Sing Sing! Sing Sing, Dennis! Sing Sing!
Luke Skywalker's not fucking Kylo Ren. What the fuck is wrong with people? No, I'm sorry, Adam Driver, and there's a shot in the trailer in the forest when, you've got Finn standing there with Anakin's lightsaber ignited, and Kylo Ren is approaching him, sans mask, and I want to talk about the fucking mask, but sans mask, and you see Adam Driver's hair and everything, and we've seen the release pics of Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. It's not Luke Skywalker. I get that people are confused because they don't see him in the trailer, and fanboys need to try to invent some reasoning for where could Luke be, what's Luke doing, who's Luke touching, who knows. So I get it, but Kylo Ren is not Luke Skywalker. They're not the same character. They're not even close to the same character. Have you seen Hamill lately? Have you seen Adam Driver? Adam Driver's tall, thin, lanky. Mark Hamill, short, not lanky.
Listen here. Listen here, everyone that's on my fucking podcast. I own this podcast. It is the Justin's List podcast. Change the fucking name to that right now. Because I own it. I own it. Ladies and gentlemen, I own it. Oh, I own it. Oh. Epic Film Guys, the flamethrower. The kids love this one. Just whatever you're gonna do, send us a picture. Make sure to send it to us on
We have little
social
Epic
media.
Film Guys breakfast cereal, and then it comes with Lisp penis marshmallows, and then you have to fuck the little O's that come in the cereal. Never mind.
There should be like quarters too for that hobo person.
Hopester.
Yeah.
Well, you know where the milk comes from in the cereal.
Oh, that's a little bit too X-rated for our show, Brian. Gee whiz. And I thought you were a clean young man here.
I forgot this was a family-friendly podcast.
He's another year older. He's all bets are off now.
If you could create the perfect leading man action hero composite, whose hair, face, accent, and catchphrases would you take?
Justin's going to have more to say about this than I would. I basically said Arnold Schwarzenegger, but just give him Bruce Willis's catchphrases. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
So, I said that I would take
dickhead.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's body. I would put Charles Bronson's face on him, and I would use Eddie Murphy's catchphrases. Eddie Murphy a la, 80s, Beverly Hills Cop catchphrases. I mean,
so you don't want to hear Norbit coming out of Arnold Schwarzenegger's body and Charles Bronson's face.
Nick.
Oh my
Nick,
Lord.
it's so big. It's so big. I don't even think that I could fit it down my throat or up my ass. It's fucking huge. I don't know if I've taken that large of a cock, of a subject in any one day. So it is huge. And Justin wanted me to come in and comfort you and rub the back of your neck and maybe just slide my hand down your pants a little bit. Hey, dude, get out of here. Get out of here. No, I said no. Oh, God.
We're referencing Emily from the Classy Little podcast. She's a little bit too classy to come on the Epic Film Guys podcast. So just make sure you listen to her show. They drink very fancy drinks and talk about fancy things. She's too classy to
They don't
come
talk
on
about
our
fancy
show.
things. Their last episode, they opened talking about Jerry Springer at a taping of the episode they fucking went to.
Hey, in my day, Jerry Springer was classy.
You know what? Give me that thing. I'll do one. We gonna do one.
Is this enough to get 20 people plastered?
All right, let's do this, bitch.
Son, there's no wrong way to consume alcohol.
Once it hits your lips, it's so good.
Justin, it looks like you and I are going to get to talk about our number ones together.
Because I know what it is. It's the same, is it not? Tell me. Do you plead? You will.
And I don't really think anybody that listens to our show is going to be at all surprised that Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice is number one on both of our fucking lists. I cannot fucking wait for this movie. I am the most ardent defender of Man of Steel because I thought it was fucking incredible. I don't care if you disagree.
I don't get the hype around this film. I mean, I get that it's going to be another cool comic book movie, but I don't understand why they keep giving Zack Snyder the keys to the kingdom as far as DC is concerned. Like, I thought Man of Steel was great. I love Man of Steel. But one of the things I do like about the Marvel Universe is they don't have the same director for each film. They have that revolving door, so we get different takes on different heroes. And with Zack Snyder, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be a dark, special effects driven. I mean, the stories are okay, but they're never really fantastic. And I'm a huge story guy. I love deep.
Yeah, but they haven't had Chris Terrio yet, though.
That is true. I think Terrio's script is going to be what's going to make or break this film.
We all know Goyer can't write a script to save his life. He's a good story person, but you never give him the chance to write the full script, and that's what we had for Man of Steel. So you got to give me credit on that much. I think Chris Terrio, bringing Affleck in with Terrio, especially for what he's done. You know, he's an Oscar-winning screenwriter. I think that for me, like, gave me the confidence, because obviously I could totally agree with you. If they're just going to let Snyder have carte blanche and then, hey, let Goyer write the script, I would have just took a few steps back and said, get the fuck out of here.
One of our main listeners, Mr. Dan Brennick, asked why is Blue Moon, the beer, God's finest gift to our beautiful planet Earth? And
wrong.
Follow-up, why are these bullshit microbreweries destroying such treasures as Bud Light Platinum? And follow-up to the follow-up, when did Zeus create the majesty known as pumpkin beer, and why has it single-handedly saved the beer industry? I have one answer to all three of those questions, Dan. Fuck you.
I don't know anything about these movies. I just want you two assholes to give me money and give me alcohol so I can get drunk. I haven't been laid in 25 years. What else do I have to live for?
That's because there's a level, like, there's like so many layers of crust built up over your dick that even if you tried to get laid, you probably wouldn't even be able to get to your dick to do it.
You know, Nick, I have to admit, on this, whenever I talk to you gentlemen here, I don't even have much of a wiener left over because I've been so hungry. One time I had to take a razor blade and cut pieces off and cook it like a hot dog over a fire on an old barrel, rusted barrel, to eat it. Hey, that's what happens when you're homeless. Yeah.
I can't. Oh my God, I fucking hate you. Cutting off pieces of your dick. Oh, I forget. I think what number 5. Oh my God. And we're actually going to be rebranding the podcast. It has been The Real Rundown through 25 episodes. It'll be The Real Rundown through 26 episodes. But after that, we're actually just going to be the Epic Film Guys podcast. Malik in that film feels like he's preaching at you the whole time, and he's trying to be like so overly artistic that he's basically just shitting out watercolors the whole time onto the screen, like that whole 15-minute journey through time or evolution of time sequence with like the dinosaur. Oh my God, that movie was the biggest, most pretentious pile of garbage. Can we start doing really shitty script rewrites like Chris Stuckman?
Oh, dude, me and Brian had a huge talk about that. Oh my God.
I remember,
dude,
we never even talked about that, but my God, was that fucking hilarious.
He bashed a movie so bad that he wrote a script rewrite that was even worse than the fucking movie he was bashing. Oh my God.
Tell that to Zod's snapped neck. fucking Christ. Holy shit. His dialogue was atrocious. Oh my God. Oh, it was bad. It was so bad. It was hilarious.
Honestly, for a guy that has a lot of fans, and I respect him because he is a Rotten Tomatoes certified critic, he put a lot of work in to get there. I don't have anything against him. For someone that I actually respect for putting in the work to get there, dude, he made himself look like an ass with that. He shouldn't even have done that. That's out of his realm, man. He's not a writer, dude.
Tell that to Zod's snapped neck. That was like, I just thought that was hilarious. And I thought it was funny that you and I never talked about that, but oh my God, that was fucking bad. But that's like the weird thing for me is because like I was definitely a writer first. Before I ever did any film criticism or anything, I've always been a writer first. And like even I don't take it upon myself to try to do that kind of stuff. I write my own stuff and that's my stuff, but I would never like try to write like a fucking like 2-page treatment to make Civil War better in my eyes or whatever. Like, holy fuck.
Well, you wouldn't because you already liked it a lot.
A lot of these people that love movies, you know, they watch movies, they are critics, they're movie critics. They think all of a sudden they're experts about everything film related and that they could write a better movie. And yeah, that's like kind of like what you were saying there. Like that's born out of that.
Tell that to Zod snap fucking neck, you motherfucker.
No, see, that would have made that line even better. All right. Well, we are right on to my number one film. It is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. This was directed by Alfonso Gomez-Lejon, and it stars Thomas Mann, R.J. Seiler, Olivia Cook, Nick Offerman, Molly Shannon, and John Bernthal. Essentially, the title tells the entire story of the film. It's about a kid and his friend Earl, and he meets a girl named Rachel who has cancer, and he becomes friends with her, and they make these little weird cheesy kind of mock-up movies. It's a simple but poignant film. It's absolutely beautiful. It's about love, about loss, about friendship, and just about the things that everybody goes through at some point in their life. And I really like these kinds of humanizing films that really just connect to your inner humanity at, you know, the deepest level. That's why this film is absolutely the best of the year for me. And that's it. That's my best of 2015. Caleb over in the live stream said, Danny DeVito, Marlon Brando, in a jar of mayonnaise. Fuck, marry, kill. Go. I'll do you first, Justin. Danny DeVito, Marlon Brando, in a jar of mayonnaise.
I would fuck the jar of mayonnaise, marry Danny DeVito because he seems like a fun gentleman, and kill Marlon Brando because he's a son of a bitch, and everything I've read about him behind the scenes kind of exemplifies that. So that one's pretty easy for me. What do you got, Nick?
I'm gonna marry Marlon Brando because the dude's a genius, even though he's a fucking pain in the ass to work with.
He's dead. He's dead, number one.
Well,
so you're
okay, I'm going to marry his fucking corpse. All right. And then, you know what? Family reunions with Nicolas Cage. All right. That's all I'm going to say. Done. Family reunions with Nicolas Cage. Fucking A. And I'm going to, let's see. You know, I'll fuck Danny DeVito because I'd make him talk in the Penguin voice the whole time. It'd be fucking great. It'd be absolutely fucking great. And I would kill a jar of mayonnaise somehow.
Why? It's so innocuous, and it's you do not like mayonnaise?
Because fuck mayonnaise, man. Fuck mayonnaise.
You hate mayonnaise?
Belongs in fudge.
You know what? Mayonnaise would make the fudge taste better.
It probably fucking would, actually. If you want to watch the shitty ass claymation Rudolph, go ahead and do it.
Shitty ass. That's a classic. Get out of here.
It's so fucking stupid. I hate that.
It's so awesome. It's so awesome.
It's garbage. You belong on the island of misfit toys.
You get out of here. You're the king. You're that whatever his name is, the king lion of the wings. You're the king of misfit toys. Get out of here. I'm hanging up now. Oh, get out of here.
It sucks so bad. It's so fucking terrible. Oh,
it's not a movie. It's a TV special. You must have been sat in a corner and been whipped with a cat tail whip, told you can't enjoy anything lighthearted in your entire life. Sit there, boy.
I enjoy many lighthearted things. I hate it. That and the Frosty one too. The Frosty one's just as
Frosty rules. And ladies and gentlemen, epic film guy Nick, the most bitter asshole on the face of the planet. He hates the Goonies too, so go after him.
I hope Nick's getting mad over it. I hope he's getting upset. I hope it's raising his blood pressure. I hope that he has to go after he's done with this episode and he has to take his heart medication and he's sitting in his bed and I'm hoping his heart's racing and he's just sitting there clenching his fist, staring at the ceiling in the darkness like, I want to kill him.
He's clutching hold of that nostalgia boner so hard.
No nostalgia boner. It's fucking Star Wars. I don't need anything more than that. You know, I liked Rogue One a lot, but I loved The Force Awakens. So when I see all these polls, these fan polls, like, which do you like more? And I'm like, The Force, the motherfucking Awakens, motherfucker. You know it. Kylo motherfucking Ren. At number one for me is Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, directed by Rian Johnson.
It is Gary Goddard's Masters of the Universe.
Oh,
you heard it.
My God.
Dolph Lundgren as
He-Man.
You know
shit.
It. And Frank Langella as honestly very well performed, very well acted, put a lot of effort into the character and had a lot of say into the character. That's probably the reason why most people really, really have a soft spot for it.
Paul from the Countdown Movie and TV Reviews on their most recent episode did in fact call Dirty Dancing one of the worst movies he's ever seen. I love you for that, buddy, because it fucking sucks.
I totally disagree 100%.
That's Swayze head's behind the desk looking at me now.
That's damn
He's
right.
burning a hole in me.
Swayze's enough to love that movie.
Stop looking at me. Oop.
He loves you, Nick. He has a deep passion for you. He wants to dance with you in a dirty, dirty way. And then he wants to be dead and be a ghost and haunt you for the rest of your life. But he really loves you. That's why he just wants to come back to life to love you.
There's really nothing to talk about with them because they're not the focus. She's the focus. She really gives the story its gravity, badum-tish. I'm so clever. This is an actress.
Is he just like blowing himself live on the podcast right now?
Yeah.
This is for real. He just took like 2 seconds to go down, put his head down between his legs and just suck it hard, baby.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the lisp isn't going to show up for this, man.
Jeez.
I'm the god of podcasting, and I am so much more clever than either of you.
Well, thank you very, very much. And again, fans, that is Justin's Cinema Beat. So look for that recurring segment to come back week after week after week after week.
Or as I'd like to call it, me rambling on and sounding like a nonsensical bastard.
Yeah, as long as Justin goes to the movies, we'll be premiering that segment.
I do hate Patrick Swayze because it's like watching a fucking 2x4 act on screen with a giant mullet.
In 5, 4, 3, 2... Don't put shit down and make fucking noise when I'm trying to do the fucking counting or do any of that belching shit. I'm tired of it, I reckon. I'll fire you. I'll fire you right now and I'll hire the Lisp. The Lisp is full-time co-host of this show. You're kicked off. Get the fuck out.
That's fine. Yeah, you at least have to pay for his alcohol. I
don't want to pay for his alcohol. That's a lot of fucking money. I'm going to have to start pulling in extra. I'm going to get a second job or some shit. We need more sponsors. Sponsors, we need alcohol for the Lisp. I figure about $250 a week ought to sate him. That's enough to get him blackout drunk at the gay bar at least 4 nights out of the week.
Yeah, but I hear he likes going to straight bars because he likes to have a challenge.
Oh, well, hey. So he's coming everywhere. He saw a tight asshole and he came everywhere. Way more delicious than that pumpkin shit that you
it's better
so many
year.
Other people love.
It's better
I'm
this
not
year.
A fan. I bet it's better. I tasted it this year. It tastes like fucking pumpkin, which no.
Blah, blah. Are we going to go back to thinking about possibly reviewing beers again and wines?
We should. We need to talk more about beer in these podcasts because we both drink when we do them. At least this is the first time I've drank in a podcast in the past like 3 or 4 weeks.
All right, so I'll ask you.
I've been feeling so under the weather.
What are you drinking?
This is Smutty Nose's Finest Kind IPA.
This is something Ada got me a 6-pack of this. It's not bad. Not my favorite IPA by any means, but it's drinkable and it's got a little bit of a bite, a little bit of a hoppy bite right at the end of it. So not too bad. I tasted a whole bunch of beers in the Finger Lakes this weekend, and I was again disappointed. Upstate New York, particularly the Finger Lakes region, has yet to really catch on to understand what hops are or how to properly use them in a fucking beer. In terms of like an IPA and stuff like that anyway. I know all beer has hops in some way or another, but you know what? There's some good Oktoberfests and stuff like that upstate, though. I was telling you before about that Oktoberfest that actually had like an apple taste to it. A little bit of an apple flavor to it, which is a welcome change from the pumpkin, which I can't abide.
So the question is, do those people in the Finger Lakes make good movies, or do they love movies? Do they like to talk about movies?
I don't know. We probably don't have any fucking listeners up there. We better, though. Somebody better start listening to this shit. Because if I got to just sit here and talk to Justin for nothing every week, I'm not going to be happy about
There's obviously someone out there interested enough to listen because, hey, you just stated those plays, and
yeah, we did.
They don't
we hit
lie.
An all-time high. That last episode was our highest, our most played episode to date, outranking, I think, an episode that we did like a month ago at the end of August. JJ would manage to suck your nostalgia boner to the point where you just fucking spewed everywhere near your nostalgia goo and that you loved the film so much. There are people out there that loved the film 10 times more than you did. So JJ was, fingering their asshole and tickling their balls at the same time. Must be, apparently. And, just like there are people out there that absolutely are tripping over themselves to fucking praise how great this movie was. And I will wager now, and I'm going to say it here and people aren't going to like it, but it's because it's not like the prequels. It's more like the originals. And that's all you wanted. You just wanted a film that was more like the original trilogy.
And it does. And I understand that. I really do understand that point.
I'm sorry, but I think that's a shitty reason to fawn over. I think that's a shitty reason to call this film 10 out of 10. I think that's a shitty. I think it's a shitty reason to call this film a masterpiece. I've seen people call it a masterpiece. I've seen people call it like the best film they've seen.
That's
forever,
because you have a different view
whatever.
of what the story should have been. Maybe they don't care that it's that story.
And maybe they don't. And I know
space adventures, space operas
much.
Before Star Wars. The story didn't really matter that much.
I know film is subjective. I get all that.
Some of these people really are like.
I just vehemently disagree.
Disagree.
I feel like I'm literally drinking a Bud Light and shoving a tangerine down my throat and choking myself to death while I drink the Bud Light.
Here, show it to Nick before we start so he can be grossed out.
I don't understand what there is to be grossed out by. It's chocolate.
No. Just look.
No.
Look.
You can't do it in the bowl.
How are you supposed to see it if I don't tip it over, Chris? It's gross. It looks like diarrhea.
Is it margarine in the brown sugar Splenda blend again?
And then you go.
It doesn't matter how I eat it. It tastes like crap. No, I don't want it. Get it away from me. It smells. It smells bad. No, it smells like shit. You didn't eat any dinner, did you?
I did.
Oh my gosh,
She's about to eat her dinner right now.
She's like 6 years old, Chrissy. Go eat your fudge somewhere.
Bye.
Don't eat it next to me. Jeez.
Because when she was a kid, her fudge was made out of actual ingredients like butter. Nothing's like margarine and Splenda.
She's up there stirring it angrily now.
It actually reminds me a lot of like Kung Fury, that title card.
Yeah. I just fucking said that, you get.
Oh, did you? Sorry, I was looking at Penguins playoff shit. Sorry, when Penguins
I guess that's kind of my payback for not paying attention to you for most of your time talking about Fate of the Furious.
When Penguins playoff shit is online, I turn off the rest of my brain and just focus on that. I'm sorry.
There you go. I'm back. Puke and rally. Woo! Give me a beer.
In the world of Endicott, New York, and Harndon, Virginia, two epic
In the
films.
world of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Oil City, Pennsylvania.
Come to Netflix and stores.
Two swill bros dissect the latest movie trailers in a segment we like to call
Downstream.
Downstream.
I
hope you enjoy editing all of this, you fuck.
It's okay. Another edition of Nick's Rants. But on the other hand, really,
is this a new segment? Is this our new segment, Justin's Lisp?
Justin's Lisp. I'm going to talk about Jared Leto's Joker cover for Empire.
My number 4, and nobody's mentioned this, and I doubt anybody's going to mention it. It's motherfucking Baywatch.
What?
I'm gonna go see it.
2 words. Alexandra Daddario. I don't fucking care.
Right.
She is fucking
my
like
beating
gorgeous
heart.
personified, dude. Again, there's supposed to be a 40-minute longer cut of this film that is apparently floating around out there somewhere. This thing got trimmed down to a lean 2 hours and 3 minutes.
It felt really fast.
I really feel like
extremely fast.
Exactly. I really feel like you could take that extra 40 minutes at the beginning and just spend it developing these characters, letting us get attached to these characters and understand these characters before you thrust us into this plot. And granted, there's still some issues with the plotting, but I think a lot of the issues I had with this film wasn't necessarily the way it was paced or even the way it was written. It's just that I don't care. I don't have any attachment to these characters whatsoever. You've done absolutely nothing to draw me in and to connect me to any of them whatsoever. And it doesn't help that you get a really, really uneven performance, as far as I'm concerned, from Travis Fimmel as Lothar.
Oh man, I felt he was
all
horrible
over the fucking place.
I feel like he was horrible.
In some scenes, I thought he was really good, but then in other scenes, he was cringeworthy. He was terrible.
I felt all the human characters were extremely boring. They're extremely dry.
They were all very, very one note as well. I felt
none of them are developed. Nothing in the film makes me give a shit about them at all whatsoever, and they're all very badly acted. I really, you mentioned Fimmel, who plays Lothar. The relationship, the shoehorned in relationship with him and his son. I'm not even going to bring up the name of the actor that played his son, who was cringeworthy at best.
He was. Yeah.
There was nothing in there that made me care about that. They just threw that in there as a secondary thing.
Exactly, and that's the biggest problem I have with this film is it really feels like they went in and just eviscerated any shred of character development for any of these characters. But that's the cycle with film. Audiences just eventually get tired of a certain formula. And it will inevitably happen to comic book films. I, as a huge, huge fan of comic book films, I say just enjoy the ride. Just strap in and just let's love these films now while we have them, because there's probably going to come a time in our lifetime when we're not going to see Superman on the big screen every couple of years or Batman on the big screen every couple of years.
My point is, as long as they're good and they're quality and we're enjoying them, keep pumping them out. It's when they will become... as we were just talking about Marvel. It's when they delve into
self-parody. It's when the quality dips, when they become stale. Yeah, exactly.
As long as that's why I'm the Marvel news is actually in line with what we're talking about here. As long as that creative control is more open here and they're allowed to be more inventive and creative with these films, and do different things with them. Make a comic book movie like an indie movie, or make it like a Western.
Or
there's
even
different
to mention,
ways to do this.
The man that really, really was the first time that superhero movies really did bank at the box office, which was Christopher Nolan with The Dark Knight. He took Batman and he decided to make it basically a crime drama. At least The Dark Knight was anyway. It's that kind of thing where you've got to get an auteur in the chair that takes the property. They see the potential of these characters, but they make their film with these characters in it. They don't just, spin it into, like I said, self-parody into, this cookie cutter stuff. And I think eventually the genre, it's inevitable that it'll happen, but I just hope it doesn't for a long time. We will jump over to our good friends from Netflix and Swill and start with Caleb. What do you got guzzling down your gullet?
I'm smoking meth, dude.
Knowing where you live, that is not a shock.
Oh my Lord. Jesus.
What the hell am I looking at? When does this happen in the movie? Son, this is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass.
That's what you call a dedicated, good, long-time listener of this show right there. Thank you very much.
I told you, I'm gonna just be fucking Michael Winslowing it up.
Fuck you, Michael. You're a fucking piece of shit.
Who the hell is Michael Winslow? That's what I almost said.
I don't fucking know. I don't knucking foe. I'm the man behind the mask.
I'm the Beauty and the Beast. That's the new version. I'm the Beauty and the Beast, Nick. Not just the Beauty or the Beast, but the Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, the Hopester's the Beast.
He's dead. He's gone. I heard he got hit by a car. It snowed yesterday.
We're not that lucky.
Well, he might be in intensive care, but I think he did get hit by a car, so I don't know.
Yeah, we're not that lucky.
Shut up, you eat, you baby! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
This is the entertainment you get when you listen to the show for what, 80 episodes now?
Oh my god.
When you get fucking sound clips embedded in your head because you've listened to every single episode, this is what happens, ladies and gentlemen.
By the way, once I finally do finish that best picture, once I finally do finish that
the best pisser,
Dog.
La La Land is the reason you go to the movies.
Yeah.
I was entertained. I was sad. I was happy. I felt emotional. I was energetic. I love the performances. I love the cinematography. I love the songs. Every single thing about why you love a movie, I loved about La La Land. And I'm totally shocked in myself that this is my number one film of the year for 2016. This is not the norm for me. I love old school musicals. I do watch them from time to time, but I'm not the musical guy on the show. Nick totally is. But I love them. I do watch them all the time. And when I sat down to watch this movie, I was totally just blown away.
Somebody tweeted it like the final scene of The Force Awakens is going to be Kylo Ren removing the mask and the big floppy Gungan ears come falling out. And then Jar Jar goes, Misa gonna avenge you, Annie. And then it cuts to black.
Oh. I'll suck your fucking dick, you motherfucker.
Joseph, let us in so we can suck your cock.
Most people would agree this is one of his more iconic films. It is They Live.
Fuck this movie.
Starring Rowdy Roddy Piper and Keith David. Have you guys seen this? You guys have all seen this one, right?
You know what, Wayne, I gotta say, I agree with you 100%. I thought this movie was a piece of shit. Oh God, I hate
you both. How dare you?
Oh,
it's ballsack, man.
Such a piece of shit.
How can you not like a film that's about aliens who have already invaded and taken over society and are subliminally controlling us through ways that we don't even
I suspect
realize.
that those aliens have infiltrated you and Justin and made you love this movie along with a lot of other people. We're going to get a lot of shit for this Wayne over on Twitter and stuff, but I don't give a shit. This movie was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
You should both put the fucking glasses on.
Hand over
The film was
fist.
fun.
This was by far
great. It's during the Reagan era. It makes total sense as a response to the Reagan era as far as what politics were. You got to think within its context and when it was made. And it was John Carpenter's way, after making many studio films, of just being two huge middle fingers, basically like, fuck you. I don't care. I'm going to make a movie about my personal feelings about politics and the government at this time during the Reagan era. And it fits perfectly. It's fun. It's, it's cheesy, but it's in the 80s. People keep forgetting that. Me and Paul understand that because we love fucking 80s films.
False.
So if you don't love,
I saw three. There are 3 movies that John Carpenter directed in the 80s on my list. So
but this is the
bullshit.
most. This is one of the most 80s. Other
That's
than Big
bullshit.
Trouble, dude, no, it's not. It's actually 100% correct. Outside of Big Trouble in Little China, this is the most.
Doesn't
80s
have
film
anything to
he
do
did.
with being an 80s film. It's just a bag of shit.
Exactly. I remember when it came out, I thought it was a joke, and
This is coming from the guy that doesn't like Patrick Swayze films. So leave that at the door, Nick. Head out the door. We can move on. We can
We
move
should
on.
move on, except to acknowledge the great fight scene that runs for like 15 minutes.
Love it. One of the best ever.
Oh,
One of the
God.
best ever.
It goes on
Especially
forever.
for
I was
wrestling
almost
fans.
falling asleep. Oh, God.
Me too. It was a late night thing.
It might be time to change up co-host, I think, Justin.
Guess what, Nick? I'm going to actually say something bad about it. I don't think that what she did in Ghost is... Shut up, Nick. Guess what? I'm here, and I want you to shut your fucking mouth right the fuck right now. All of a sudden, I took a piss on some guy sleeping on a bench that had a Pekingese dog in a bag. He was
Pekingese
laying
dog?
there. Yeah, he must have went to a very expensive grocery store. He had looked like some organic foods in that bag. But the dog was also in the bag. I didn't notice. I just got drinking some PBR, and I also got someone to get me a full bottle of Mr. Boston, unlike you jackasses who won't even get me a small little bottle. And I pissed all over the dog, and the dog was barking and yipping. It was going, yip, yip. I don't even know. All I know is that I'm asking you, what is this pod and family done for me? I ain't making any money off this whole thing. I don't know what the big deal is.
The whole point isn't for you to make money. It has meant exposure exponentially for this show. We've gained hundreds of fans, hundreds of listeners, thousands of listeners, even thousands of downloads anyway, from the members of Pod and Family, other podcasters who rally around us and who we rally around to help support one another and to help one another grow. It gives us all a bigger voice, a bigger presence out there in the world. And it's not about you getting fucking loaded. Everything is not about you getting wasted and eating double cheese.
I do not want Pumpkin or any of those shitty pumpkin beers. So, Justin, you can keep all of those. And I know.
Hey,
I'm going to tell.
Watch who you're calling shitty.
You. I'm going to tell on you because I know that is not your pumpkin that you're drinking. It belongs to the wife.
The wife doesn't listen to the podcast, so it doesn't really make a difference either way because she's not going to listen. She'll just. I have a plan to fake it to make it look like it's still in there. So don't worry about it.
You know what you should do? You should do what you used to do with liquor bottles when you were a kid.
Doing it. That's what I'm
doing.
doing.
Fill it back up with water and put the top back and put it in the fridge until you can replace it.
How did you guess?
That's awesome. That makes me really happy.
So, dude,
she's gonna break that fucking bottle over your.
It's possible. I mean, if I'm not alive for next week's podcast, film fans, be aware of the reasoning why pumpkin can cause a riot. It can cause murder.
Justin's
number 2 is.
No, actually, it's not.
It's got to be your number 1 then. It's got to be your number 1.
My number 2, you already mentioned, Nick, is War for the Planet of the Apes, directed by Matt Reeves.
I didn't mention it.
You son of a bitch, I mentioned it. And we were going to do Guardians 2 together. This is the commitment you show?
Going back to that scene with Tarkin and Krennic, the reason that that's the most important scene in this film is because Krennic is asking when they'll get to display the power of the Death Star, to which Tarkin replies, "When has become now." And I was like, did they just fucking reference Spaceballs in Rogue One? Like, are they going to go get a copy of Rogue One, the video cassette, and fast forward it to see how they defeat the rebels?
Think about it. I mean, they wouldn't even have to fast forward. It's one of those jokes, not to get off on too big of a Spaceballs tangent, but I think newer generations, that joke would just be lost on because they can just go to scene selection and just skip the different scenes.
Yeah.
They didn't have that joy and luxury. That was like one of the most funniest things about Spaceballs is they're sitting there watching it fast forward. The Dark Helmet, Rick, the immortal Rick Moranis.
Fast forwarding, sir.
No, go past this part. In fact, never show this again.
We're at now.
When will then be now?
Go back to then. We can't. Why? We just passed it. When? Now. Just now. When will then be now?
Soon.
These Spaceballs references hitting for anybody?
We still hadn't gotten our sound to a place where we were exactly 100% happy with it.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed
Jesus
Reindeer
Christ.
had a very shiny bottle of Mr. Boston. Hey, you. I feel like I haven't been on here in a couple of weeks. Maybe because I've been so fucking drunk for so long, I forgot to come on the show.
I think maybe you were upset last week that we did that whole featurette that focused on the lisp and you were feeling left out, so maybe you boycotted last week.
Hey, you know, I never even met that guy or girl or whatever it was. I don't even know who it was at all. You never actually introduced me to the lisp, so I can't really make a straight opinion. But, you know, I have to admit, I like the Christmas season. Right now, I think Christmas is going to happen in like a month, right? Something like that.
About 2 weeks. Actually, 10 days from the day this episode drops.
I get a lot of extra handouts and a lot of extra change during the season because people feel
I thought you were going to
bad
say a
for
lot of
homeless
extra hand jobs.
I haven't had a hand job in 10 years. Well, not that I can remember. I might be getting one in the bathroom at a bar. I don't know. All I know is that during the holidays, give to your homeless men. This is a public Spurs announcement that to give to homeless men on the street. Hey, we need to eat. We like to enjoy Christmas too, especially New Year's.
You
hey,
know you're not going to buy any fucking
Christmas.
food with that. You're going to go eat double cheese out of the dumpster and spend it all on Mr. Boston and PBR.
I don't want no Mr. Boston. I want Cristal, bitch. I want the whole deal, especially for New Year's. It's
Holy
coming along.
shit.
All us
Cristal.
hobos on the street. Hey,
You're not going to be able to
found-
visit the Netflix and Swill podcast if you're having things like Cristal.
They still haven't invited me. I tried getting a hold of that Dan Brennicator. I call him the Brennicator. And he said he wouldn't speak to me. So I don't even know. Otherwise, you know, I'm glad that Lisp fucking guy is off the show. I get the spotlight. More money, more PBR, more Mr. Boston, and more double cheese for me. And hey, Patrick Sherwood, you jerk. I have yet to be invited to live on your couch.
Well, the word
I'm
on the
waiting.
street is, and I actually heard this from Knock from the Geek Yogurt podcast a couple of weeks ago, but I actually heard you were sleeping out in his barn. That's where I heard you've been crashing, right up here in upstate New York. You've been crashing over with Knox. So what do you have to say about that? You've been sleeping in a fucking barn?
Hey, does he shoot deer? Because I know that I was rustled up next to a dead deer someone shot in some barn a couple of weeks ago. It was dead, but it felt like it had enough warmth for me to lay on as a blanket. I had my hand underneath its gut where it was shot. And my hand got all bloody and everything. In the morning, people said, "Hey, sir, are you okay? Did you hurt yourself?" I said, "No, I was just so drunk I stuck my hand up a deer's fucking asshole to keep warm all night."
Well, since you're here, hey, are you planning on checking out Rogue One?
What in the fucking hell is that? I don't even know what you're talking about. Rogue what? I wasn't in any war. I was too lazy for that. I was too busy getting drunk.
It's the newest Star Wars film. It takes place directly before Episode 4, A New Hope.
I have no idea what in the hell you're talking about. Star what? Oh, wait. Star Trek with that one gentleman, the Shatner gentleman. I know what you mean. Okay. I don't think I'll ever make my way into a theater unless they have stale popcorn in the back, but these new fangled dangled theaters, they don't do that anymore.
Oh my God.
I've caught into your, help. What is the fan views line?
Yep.
Drunk like the week before Christmas as Santa Patrick Swayze. No, Dan thought it was Santa Patrick Swayze, but I told him that it was Ghost Patrick Swayze, and I really didn't know at the time. I was drunk, so I was like, what does Ghost Patrick Swayze sound like? And apparently it sounds like Santa Patrick Swayze. But that's another thing that I'm like, I don't think he's such an innocuous actor. who's been into a lot of classic movies that I'm just like, but Nick, why?
Good for
Tell me, Nick.
Your touch.
Keep him the hell out of here, man. Seriously, he's gonna walk in my door. He's gonna push me out of my seat. He's gonna smell like piss and rotten pussy, and I don't even know what's gonna happen.
Justin is a dirty rat. He fed that rat to that cat. That cat got chased by that bat.
But that bat killed a rat.
Then that bat just got really fat.
Are we gonna record the rest of the podcast?
No. What are we doing? Just stuff we love now, right? All right, we're back in 5, 4, 3, 2. We've talked about the performances. We've talked about the criticisms.
We have.
And now
comes the part
where I relieve you, the little people, of the burden of your failed and useless lives. But as my plastic surgeon always said, if you gotta go with a smile. And this is a brown ale, so basically it's got a lot of notes of toasted nuts and everything like that in there. It's kind of one of those
toasted nuts.
Toasted nuts.
What?
I feel like we need to make that the new mouthfeel. Toasted nuts.
Toasted nuts. It's almost like I was going to say, like, do you remember Hot or Not? It was like back in the late 90s, early 2000s. You would like post your picture on a social media site and you would just like click Hot or Not. It would like rate it like 1 out of 10.
Tinder.
I guess that's like what it is now, but I'm kind of
I'm sorry, for you, Grindr.
Okay.
Yeah, he's big into the grinder scene.
So go ahead. Go. I want to hear your rating. How did you think? What was Deadpool's rating, please?
Deadpool's rating, I gave it an 8.5 out of 10.
8.5. What the fuck?
Wait a minute. Stop it, Nick. Stop it.
I'm difficult to impress.
Damn non-professional fucking
No.
reviewers.
We discussed already that we were going to get rid of the halves thing because Justin kept doing it. So we can't do halves anymore. We have to just do a solid number. Nick used to beat up Justin over it.
Then 9. It's not even a question. It got like an 8.9 or whatever you want to call it.
What the hell? Wait, get out of here. Get fuck out of here.
What do you want to give a thumb up, thumb down, middle finger up, fist in, fist around, fist outside of? Thumbs up to Chrissy's fudge.
Thumbs down to Chrissy's fudge.
Wow.
But she just gave me the finger.
I want to bring Emily from the Classy Little Podcast back on the podcast as soon as possible.
Justin, I got to hear Paz de la Huerta deliver all of her lines just like this, like she recorded them and then someone slowed the track down so it would sound like she had 7 dicks in her mouth.
They also have a way to call in and record a question, which is a very unique way to connect with fans, so don't miss that opportunity, even though we haven't had a new fan views voicemail since Patrick Swayze's ghost called in.
No. It wasn't Patrick Swayze's ghost. It was Santa Swayze's ghost.
Santa Swayze.
I swear to God, I'm listening to the episode, and it's just like, oh, ho, 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 everybody, I'm Patrick Swayze. It's like, come on, man. Get the fucking impression right. God, Jesus. Fuck you. Wait, which one was it? Go watch a movie or I Married a Movie Geek?
So I Married a Movie Geek. Movie Geekcast on Twitter is Justin from there. I love those guys. I love it. He and his wife do that show. They're amazing.
And that and Justin's list. We'll be back next week.
Hey, I was thinking about the fact that I haven't been on here in a while. I just got done taking a massive shit. And I was thinking about how I could relate that shit to a film called Batman Forever. Hey, you ever heard of it?
It's funny you should mention that, Hobo Justin. Wait, you're not Hobo Justin. What is it? Hipster Justin.
I don't know what you want to call me. You can call me anything you want if you'd like. I could give a fuck less.
You and I argued slightly before the podcast, like in real life.
Because you're a piece of shit.
Well, so are you. But I love you. And the point
Fuck
is,
you,
is that
Michael. You're a fucking piece of shit.
and I'm gonna drive up there right now just to smash that mixer, even though I love you, Emily.
Everything that we've gotten in the past 30 plus years has just been this really dark, brooding interpretation of the character. And that's the entire idea behind the voice that Arnett's putting on him. He's like this really like over the top, dark, like brooding character, and I can't wait. I think it's going to be great.
And honestly, just to throw this out there, obviously you forgot about Batman Forever and Batman and Robin there, Nick. When you
Listen,
said dark and brooding.
those were the darkest films in the series. Mr. Freeze fucking freezing everybody and just murdering everybody like that. And then you have Two-Face. How many innocent bank guards were traumatized? When he stormed that bank.
I mean, the dude lives.
He made fun of him for being fat. He fat shamed that guard.
He did.
How do you think he feels?
In your case, beer and pizza. How does that make him feel? That's horrible, Nick. That's worse than death, dude.
Hey, don't say I didn't show up. I came in for one last shot and told you to all the fuck yourself. Fuck you. I'm done. Fuck yourself. I hate you. Fuck off.
That made me want to get a hacksaw and cut a flagpole down and then jump on the flagpole ass first. That's how bad that thing looks. An hour and 10 minutes into the fucking movie before a police officer shows up, there's all these fucking dead bodies, all these missing persons. Nobody's fucking investigating it. Nobody fucking cares. It's the stupidest fucking, oh my God, it's so bad. It's so bad. And the shitty thing is American Psycho is a really good movie. And it completely shits all over everything that was great about that movie.
Cursed scumbag.
Your new friends, the cannibals.
What are you doing down there, Judge Hershey?
Waiting for backup.
It's here. Drunk, you woman.
And the first degree murder of a street judge. Let me guess. Life. Death. Alrighty, and that leaves my number one, and we already know what it is because I've been leading into it this whole time.
I know what it is.
Equal to an absolute fucking masterpiece of a film from 2014. It is War for the Planet of the Apes. Come the fuck on. Star Wars did distract me from ranting about Marvel for a while.
It was a new hope all over again, and god damn it, I can't believe I went to see that piece of shit. I can't believe I spent. Fuck J.J. Abrams, fuck Star Wars. I'm selling my Boba Fett's back. Boba Fett's the greatest character of all time, if that's the fucking movie they're gonna give us. That was Nick Hastings.
That's the greatest impersonation of Nick that I've ever heard. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up to Dan, our best guest yet.
Wow.
900 podcasts.
Oh my gosh.
I'm pretty good, right?
That's amazing.
Yeah. Please don't keep that in the show.
Oh my God. That is going to be the opener, James.
Did I get the number right?
No.
Did I get any of it right?
No.
What is the number, Emily?
525,600 minutes.
Nice.
Thank you.
Now we all know Emily can actually sing nearly as well as I can.
Nearly. Oh, not even close, James. No. You can always tell when we have recorded our second episode of the night because we've already had a lot of
little
wine.
looser,
Yeah.
A lot is not. 2 bottles is not a lot.
2 bottles is not a lot.
2 bottles is not a lot.
I hate when people say you don't need alcohol to have a good time. You don't need running shoes to fucking run, but they help, goddammit.
You know how sometimes you're not going to fuck your mother, and then you are going to fuck your mother? That's exactly what he's saying. Did you know Mr. Pibb was a Dr. Pepper ripoff?
Yes.
By Coca-Cola. I never knew that because no one's ever had Mr. Pibb.
We don't have
myself
Mr.
included.
Pibb up here. We don't need a Mr. up in Connecticut.
We want only drink sodas with doctor in the
We
title.
only drink sodas with a PH fucking D.
Yes, please.
Are these Ben & Jerry's flavors?
Uh-huh.
Or are they an Emily pun?
Okay. Nice.
Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Some of these I got from the internet. They're not all me.
Okay.
That's my jam.
That's an Emily pun.
That is not. That is
No!
a Ben & Jerry flavor.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Raspberry beret.
Ben & Jerry's.
Nope.
What?
That's mine. Empowerment.
Ben & Jerry's.
Yes.
Finally.
Wu-Tang Flan.
You. Please tell me that was you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go shorty, it's your birthday.
I'm so torn. You.
Yeah.
Okay, thank God.
That was the internet, so Robert Brownie Jr.
You.
Pets are apparently not allowed at the Vatican.
But if they were, it would be called the catechin.
It sure. And also, there's a category of cats who've braved the high seas.
Yo, on the Meoceans.
The what?
Meoceans?
Yeah, that's what I thought you said.
Yeah. If I had a record of all popping, that would be great.
Get Orville Redenbacher's 1976 hit. The Colonel plays them all.
Ooh, it would be a pop album. Yeah?
Fuck, Emily. Stop making my voice into a robot's voice, Emily.
Stop giving me the ammunition needed in the recordings to do so, James.
Emily, it hurts my feelings when you do that.
I want that non-robotic voice. I do not sign on for that.
Sir, buddy, little man, little Mimi, hair man.
Sir Ploppington.
Sir Ploppington.
Baby Buster.
What can you can't like yell out to him. I just like kept walking like, yep, I'm the guy who puts dog shit in his pocket.
Like, where do I stand?
Oh, James, you would be kicked out even before number 32.
You could placate me a little bit.
No,
Let's try
I
that
can't.
again.
I can't. No.
Where would I rank, Emily? You'd be number 1, James. Thanks, Emily. This is a classy little podcast with James and me, Emily.
You know what? You put the men in menstruation, which is why we need
Jesus.
chocolate.
Is it that time again?
What? Come on, be the John Ralphio to my Mona Lisa right now, James. Come on.
I think I can speak for everyone who's ever listened to the Classy Little Podcast when I say, we're going to miss you. Thank you very much, Emily, and thank you, James, for all of the great episodes and great moments that you've given us. We'll be right back. Thumbs down to preachy liberals who can't stop shoving Trump hate down our fucking throats. All right? We get it. He's a fucking ass clown. I hate him. Justin hates him. We fucking hate him. Most people hate him. But fuck's sake, give it a fucking rest. Let me tell you, I want to say this on the podcast. This is exactly how he fucking won in the first place, okay? Liberals and liberal media cannot shut the fuck up about Trump. They love to hate this guy. They want to talk about him literally all the time. And when you do nothing but talk about this one guy and shove him in everybody's face all the fucking time, oh, now all of a sudden he won the fucking election. So you're the ones that fucking put Hillary up, who would never fucking win in the first place because she's a terrible fucking candidate. And you're the ones that shove Trump up our fucking asses all the time. So shut up. Just enough is enough
real.
with fucking
For
Trump.
real.
And there were so many fucking winners that came out last night that had to take some political swipe at this, some political swipe at that. And it wasn't as political a show, like overtly, as I thought it was going to be, which was good. But even still, like what there was too much.
You know it's coming.
Jesus Christ.
You shouldn't be surprised.
I'm not surprised. I just hate you for it.
You shouldn't hate me for it because, as we talked about, our lists are about experience. It's about enjoyment at the theater and
about
how much
sucking Justin's nostalgia.
About how much you. It has nothing to do with that. I don't care. A lot of what I love about films are about things that I love and I care about. And I'm not. Hey, whatever. You can say what you want about it. The general public's the same way. I don't give a shit. And I don't care what Nick has to say about it either. He can be as bitter as he wants to be about it. Star Wars The Force Awakens.
I'm not bitter. I gave it a 6 out of 10. That's not a negative rating.
6 out of 10 is garbage. 6 out of 10 is enough.
Well, so was the script. So
the script was great. The script just wasn't up to your expectations. The script itself was good. It just wasn't what you wanted.
1, 2, 3, 4. Well, he sneaks into my house and he watches all my movies. From Bridget Jones's Diary to Never Been Kissed. He'll leave a mess each morning and I hope that we can find him. Tell me, where in the world is
The List?
Hey, Nick and Justin, this is Emily from the Classy Little Podcast, which has been on hiatus for a few weeks now. But after much coaxing from Nick, I'm back behind the mic because I need your help. The Lisp has started sneaking into my house to watch movies in the middle of the night, since apparently we both enjoy 80s and 90s movies. But then he leaves a mess for me to clean up in the morning. Hopefully you figured out that last week's movie was Rain Man. This week, it doesn't look like he watched a movie at all. All I found was a note that said this: Dear Epic Film Guide. All I can see is the movie